got one more coming in, Casey, from the 5th. But with that, I think at 6:33, I'd like to call us to order. Just doing a quick check to see if Ricky is with us. And we'll get started. Thank you, everybody. Thank you very much. Thank you for spending a few extra minutes with our guest. That was a treat. And as endorsement season prior to the primary wraps up, it's always interesting to see candidates who, especially if they're electeds, who realize, oh my goodness, I don't quite know that I've done everything I'm supposed to do with my party. Um, and um, and with that, I think I'd like to ask Vice Chair Josh Vaughn if he wouldn't mind reading um, a, a, a proposed starting point for our new land acknowledgement. I heard really closely um, that the video helped us over a hurdle and gave us some grounding in acknowledging the ancestral lands we live on, but that it would be good to take it to the next step. And so I took a first step and would love, as we all come in from our summer fun, if anybody is interested in forming an ad hoc committee to help write something specific to us. This might be a launching point or it might not be, but it's something new and refreshed and was a bit of a contemplative time for me. And I hope you enjoy, or if not, let me know what Josh is going to read. Thank you, Josh.
Thanks, Beth. And I'll go ahead and also share just so we have a visual. All right. And from, again, this is authored by Beth, putting together some pieces. I see Kat with a hand up first. So,
I wonder
go.
if you could zoom in on that,
Oh,
Josh.
sure.
Yeah, for folks, it's a teeny bit small on your lovely widescreen.
It's such a small widescreen, too. How's that?
Thank you so much.
All right. We acknowledge that our King County communities are built on ancestral and traditional land of the Coast Salish people. We also recognize that the United States removal, termination, and assimilation policies and practices resulted in the forced settlement of indigenous lands and the attempted erasure of indigenous cultures and languages. We further acknowledge the oppression, injustices, and discrimination that indigenous people have endured, and there is much work to be done on the important journey to reconciliation. We commit to strengthen our understanding of the history and contemporary lives of indigenous peoples and to steward this land. We further recognize the many indigenous people living here today, including the Muckleshoot Indian tribe and Snoqualmie Indian tribe, as well as Duwamish and Suquamish nations, have rich ancestral histories in King County. Today, their descendants remind us that they are still here, where they maintain a vital and visible presence. We honor and respect the enduring relationship between these peoples and this land, as well as the strength of indigenous culture and knowledge, the continued existence of tribal sovereignty, and the principle of tribal self-determination.
Thank you all. Thank you. And anybody who found that interesting, enlightening, a little bit different. I welcome the conversation and I'd like to enhance it to reflect the feelings of this body. That's it. Um, that's that's what I was thinking. And now it got me a little emotional. So thank you guys for handling with that too. Okay. So as we begin our meeting, Um, we regularly begin with adopting our agenda. And I'm happy to share that, or if Josh is handy, that's awesome too. I've got it up on my screen. Um, I would like to ask, before we adopt the agenda, I'd like to share with the group that we have a temporary parliamentarian for the night, the amazing Tara Gallagher, as our friend Alex Bejaran Estevez needed to stay at work. Tara is a seasoned parliamentary helper, and I'm very grateful that in the truly 11th hour she was able to step in and help us. So thank you all. Our first order of business is to adopt the agenda, and I would like to request from our parliamentarian, if we know now that one of the later in the evening reports, the owner of that report, the tech committee report by Aaron Schrader, he may not be here depending on how long our meeting goes. Is it possible now or later to shift the agenda to receive that report earlier? How should I best handle that through Robert rules?
Just change it now, because this is pretty much just a proposal, so change it now and then we'll adopt it with the change.
Great. I'm going to do that and ask if, how'd that work? Almost, I'm so close. Whoa. Cool. Okay, thank you. Thank you very much, Tara. I appreciate it. With that change and with some forewarning that we do have at least 2 items of new business at the end of the meeting, I'd like to add, if anybody other than myself has additions or corrections to make to this agenda, or if we can accept this agenda and move forward.
I move we accept the agenda.
Thank you. And I believe that was Hannah. Thank you for that motion, Hannah. And Hunter has his hand raised. Hi, Hunter.
I'll second.
Thank you very much. Do I have any objections to the motion and second to adopt this agenda? No objections. I promise not to tell my favorite anecdote about why we asked 3 times, but I will ask the 3rd time. If we have no other objections, then we'll take this agenda as presented. Thank you. Thanks, everybody. And thank you for helping us make that shift. I appreciate that. Tara to the rescue twice already inside of an hour. Awesome, awesome, awesome. Our next bit of business is working through our minutes. And I would like us to be able to address the March minutes as well as the June minutes. And they do have some adjustments already made in the drafts that were in the folder and as shared. Josh, would you like to bring those up, or would you like me to bring them up?
Yeah, I'll bring out, you're starting with March?
Yes, please.
Oh.
Before we begin them, I would just like to say that you guys heard me probably too many times at the beginning of this biennium describing how new to chairing I am. I am the newbiest new of chairs that you can imagine, especially with not having really anticipated that I would throw myself into this, both feet, and making a big splash in the deep end. But I did, and I am learning rapidly, but also in a pretty clunky way. So for that, I apologize and ask for your grace. One of the things I learned over the course of this last month from our favorite, and it's a doozy, Robert's Rules of Order, is there's a really significant rule about participants in the meeting only addressing the chair of the meeting, even if the chair is in the meeting but not chairing that meeting. So we all speak just to the chair of the meeting, and if we don't speak to the chair of the meeting, then that speaking is out of order. And I think that's rule 3.12. Not entirely certain I'm remembering that correctly. So I request moving forward that we all speak to the chair. and refer in the most um, lovely and helpful way possible to our colleagues in the room, always assuming that we're
Second.
doing our best. So thank you for that. But that was a new piece of learning. And I know that in past meetings, I have allowed discourse among members of the group and even discourse from members of the group to the parliamentarian. And all of that is actually out of order. So apologies from me for not knowing in advance appropriate meeting management. And I appreciate your grace and understanding as I learn. And I appreciate everybody's grace and understanding for everybody else in the room as we learn how to work together and as we learn these many, many rules together. This is a really thick book. It is about 700 pages. And I don't know how many of us have had parliamentary training to learn that book, not me. And so I welcome addressing me as the chair to help me learn that. And then together we'll be a better, stronger group made of better, smarter, stronger individuals. So thank you all. All righty, on to, we have Chair of, I forget which number LD, Chris Roberts in the waiting room. Here he comes. So here we have our March minutes. And for now, although it looks a little bit different, I'm requesting that we stick with this grid format because it helps my brain segment the parts of the meeting. So while Roberts often says to write it in, I forget the word they use, like not prose or discourse, but something more like in a letter format, this really helps me remember what section of the meeting we were in when we worked on things. So when we come to committee reports, if we could pause. There we are. Thank you. I think there's a highlight here where I would like to, now the draft that we've been scrolling is the one you've had for a little while. And I am now proposing that we add to the minutes here and again later on. After many hours of reviewing and learning about Robert's rules, I'm proposing this addition to the minutes that at this point in the conversation, our endorsement committee, Chair Pipkin spoke directly to LD 46 Chair Hunter Brown, which was out of order. Again, I should have known better. And it was not noted at the time. And in this meeting, not to throw him under the bus, but I had asked Josh to chair the meeting, so he could not have known either. Hi, Tara. Thank you for raising your hand.
The minutes have to reflect just what was done in the meeting. If it was not called out as out of order at the time, I do not believe it is appropriate to put it into the minutes. Essentially, at this point, that would be editorializing.
Okay. Can I scroll down and we can do my second possible addition, and then you can tell me if I'm following Robert's rules correctly. In the chair report, so all of this is stuff you guys have seen. It's been sent every month since April. But in the chair report section, I wrote in the minutes this phrase, chair disagrees with the assertion and the point is ruled out of order. And in the meeting, there was not either the chair of the meeting or the chair of the organization disagreeing with an assertion and making a ruling on out of order. Again, my interpretation, and this is what's been sent to you. So that at the very least does need to be changed. And So I went back and I added the previous editorial to help clarify my striking of this statement, because I would propose that we insert a statement that was then made by another member of the meeting. Are you saying, Tara, for those just joining, Tara Gallagher has graciously agreed to serve as our parliamentarian tonight, that then I should just strike the incorrect statement, or can I add, in fact, Josh, if you click on this highlighted piece, it will show the notes. It should, at least. Here,
I'm going to try this too.
to show comments. There we are. So I want to make sure in my learning, because I'm really trying and it's pretty painful. There are now 695 pages, I don't know. Should I simply strike my incorrect writing of the chair disagreeing with the assertion and the point being ruled out of order, or should I insert the actions that the discussion that happened in the meeting, where Hunter Brown, chair of the 46 LD, states that Kay Pipkin's comment addressing him directly is inappropriate and per Robert's Rules of Order newly revised are interpreted as a personal attack. The original statement back previously was not immediately recognized as such by the meeting chair, and H. Brown's subsequent rebuttal was raised as a point of order and not as a requested rebuttal to be permitted by the chair, making this statement also out of order. I know, it's really
Actually,
complex.
no, because none of that happened at the meeting, so I again don't think it's appropriate. A nice summary of this whole discussion in this month's minutes should cover the topic for future reference, but I do not believe it is appropriate to put discussion that is not rebuttable or joinable about something that happened in previous month's minutes.
Okay, I understand
So,
particularly the
nothing.
piece about it not being rebuttable or joinable. What about the piece about striking the phrase that is wholly inaccurate? And
That should be struck, yeah.
okay. Okay, thank you. In that case, based on your recommendation, I move that we accept these minutes with that statement struck and this dialogue noted in the meeting minutes for July of 2025. That's okay. And Hunter, it looks like you might have a question. Thank you.
Yes, I do not believe that the chair can make motions.
Oh,
Um,
you're right. Thank you. That will give me a new page I now know. Thank you.
Thank you. And I do actually wish to why I agree with the strike. I wish to amend the first sentence as well. And kind of, I guess, combine the second sentence.
And I think that what Tara, as our parliamentarian, is suggesting is that we consider this discussion a part of the July minutes as opposed to amending the March minutes.
I don't
So-
think that's what she was suggesting.
Tara, can I ask for your interpretation? I thought I
Okay.
understood, but I must not have.
Okay, I'm saying that the highlighted statement should be removed because it is not accurate. There should not be anything put in that is, after the fact, interpretation or discussion of what was said. If Hunter just wants to suggest a rewording that he thinks would be more accurate, he can do that. That is within his rights, as long as it's just to try to reflect accuracy of what was actually said in the meeting.
So I obviously misinterpreted last time, so I'm going to try again. What you're suggesting now is that we strike the sentence that is highlighted, and that Hunter suggests an addition to the March minutes that are not as written and not as suggested by me.
Yeah, Hunter may move an amendment to the minutes if that would address the accuracy of the minutes as a reflection of what happened in the meeting. That would be a motion to amend the minutes and would be voted on.
But the motion to amend by me in these notes is not.
Oh, we can vote on that. I thought you were withdrawing.
Nope.
Well, actually,
No, my intent was to propose striking what I wrote here that was not accurate and inserting what is.
and inserting
In the comment.
Okay, so that you okay, that is a motion to amend the proposed minutes.
Yes. By
Okay,
striking that, I propose striking this sentence and inserting.
Quick point of order.
yeah.
I don't believe that the chair can make a motion, and amending is making a motion, and I would like to make a motion to amend the entire paragraph to what I posted in the chat, which would take care of deleting that sentence as Chair Baisley wishes to do.
So if I'm understanding correctly, that I am allowed to first amend
I didn't hear a second.
by striking.
I have my hand raised to second it, sorry.
So Tara, at this point, you're proposing that we can accept my first half of my proposed change, which is striking of a sentence. And my question is, do we need to vote on that? Or are we not allowing my proposal and instead asking Hunter to add that strike to his point of order in the minutes, to do that as one thing?
Okay, I would suggest to the chair that the addition would be out of order. If you we could also essentially, yeah, I would say that the statement being deleted is out of order, and also that the addition would be out of order. So I don't know that it will, but that of course requires a ruling of the chair.
Who is
But
amenable
if they're out of
to
order, then that would not require a vote.
Hunter and Lisa. We'll have Hunter first.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I hadn't heard a second or even a first. When you said you made a motion and someone seconded it, but since you can't make a motion, someone couldn't second it. So I'm just unclear as to whether your original motion was moved and seconded, and if it's on the floor or if mine is. I'm curious.
I thought I heard Ricky, but because his hand wasn't raised, it was just me seeing the green highlight on his box coming up and hearing it. So I don't know if that's recognizable, and I want to make sure I'm following the rules.
So his would have been a first. Was
Mhm.
there then a second? I'm just asking the parliamentarian. Thank you.
Yeah, and I think it'd be hard without NFL instant replay technology.
Okay,
Yeah.
all right. Did someone move?
Uh-huh.
Did someone move this?
And Ricky came off of mute a moment ago, and I think that he was saying that that was his intent, but I don't know that there was a second to that. Unless Lisa's hand is raised because she intended to second that.
Second.
Oh, well, Ricky, I think you moved. You can't move and second.
Oh,
there's-
my
you
bad.
you can't have it all.
Why not?
Cake and ice cream. Um, Lisa has her hand up, and then Ian, and then Katie.
Thank you. No, I was just trying to follow Tara Gallagher's um decisions regarding what was in order and out of order because I'm just confused on the process on what I don't remember. I know that I heard Ricky come off mute and say second, but you hadn't actually made a motion at that point. You were talking about learning and rules in the minutes, and then he just said second, and but there hadn't actually been a motion made yet. So I don't know that he actually motioned himself since he didn't state the motion. Um, and that's why I think that is I think so. Tara, is that why Hunter's motion was out of order to?
I'm sorry, Lisa, you can't address
You're right.
Tara.
I know. I'm trying to figure
Lisa,
out.
please just speak to the chair.
Okay, yes. So could you ask the parliamentarian to clarify what was in order, why it wasn't like what their understanding is of what has happened here and what the next step should be.
So I'm going to clarify my knowledge gained this evening from our substitute parliamentarian, who I'm very appreciative for coming in literally after 5 o'clock tonight to join us in this role. And boy, oh boy, we're putting her through it. What I am learning is that if I wanted to make additions to the minutes that I had noticed the body with, I can't actually put those in myself. That I have to share that and see if somebody else agrees and chooses to utilize that or chooses their own wording to make amendments. That I, as the chair, can't make a motion to the work on the floor. So I believe that that's what Tara has shared. I did make 2 adjustments to clarify the discussions that happened in that meeting, that had we known these Roberts rules would not have proceeded that way, which was really my preamble about learning these rules and learning good meeting management. And now we all know, and we can all go back to our LDs and do it appropriately as well. So it's learning for all 39 of us. So what Tara is saying is possible is for somebody to make a motion to strike the statement, chair disagrees. And it's possible for somebody to move what I noted to insert. I don't think I can edit that to highlight it for you in the comment box. And I think that Hunter made a motion that was seconded by Lisa. And his motion is in the chat to make that change in the middle. Earlier, we talked about not amending these minutes to reflect this discussion, because minutes are made to reflect actions taken. And this is a little bit editorializing, summarizing a discussion for clarity, but that's not a requirement through Roberts. So earlier, Tara suggested that this discussion could be reflected in the minutes of tonight, which would be the July meeting. And then Hunter popped into the chat some good wording. Ian commented also. Diana says that she seconds Ricky's motion. Ian asked, can we put Ricky's motion in writing? And Ian is not in a place where he could do it himself. And his connection's not 100% awesome. So we're going to try and help out there as much as we can. So Lisa, do you have a question about the summary that I just gave?
No, I was going to say thank you for the summary. And I was going to just say, so I just wanted to clarify then, yeah, I mean, I don't know if either you or Tara can answer this question, but I'm just trying to figure out which motion is actually in order right now. That's really all.
Thank you for asking the chair which motion is in order. And I will defer to Tara, because I think we have two things. One, can I make that strike first? And then two, is the motion on the table Hunter's statement that's in the chat? I think it is.
I've gone through the transcript and I don't see Ricky making the motion. So Hunter's motion was made first, so we would consider Hunter's amendment first, and then we can consider other amendments.
Thank you. I appreciate that. And before I move on to that, Katie, Lisa, your hand is raised. Do you have another
I disagree.
hold on, Ricky.
Oh, sorry.
Can you raise your hand?
Sorry.
I want to make sure that Lisa's hand. Okay, so Lisa's question was answered, and Katie has been patient. Thank you, Katie.
Sure. I was going to offer to write whatever motion is in order into the chat, but it seems like if Hunter's is in order, I believe his is already in the chat.
It is, and I can copy it down, I think, and put it in the chat again. So it's, there you go. So it's the most recent thing in chat, and we can read it out loud in a moment. Thank you, Tara. You have the floor.
Yeah, I just wanted to say we're using the phrase in order, but I believe what we're actually saying is on the floor.
Yes.
Yeah, so the motion that is on the floor right now would be Hunter's, and then we can, after dealing with that, then we can take other motions.
Wonderful.
But it's not a question of whether it's in order or not.
It's on the floor. Thank you. And I'm just going to count that one more page. I'm down to 694 to learn. That one might be half a page. Thank you. Okay, so the motion that is on the floor for us to, do we debate, Tara, or not?
Yes.
Okay. I'm going to ask, before I read it out loud, that Josh close the comments box on the draft, because it makes it really small, and parliamentarian has said we can't use those in as a motion from me, because I can't make a motion. So thank you. Okay, so in the paragraph in the chair report, the 1, 2, 3, 4th paragraph, I believe. I will say that entire paragraph, and I'm just nodding and looking at Hunter to make sure that he meant that to replace that entire paragraph. Yeah, got it. Thank you. The paragraph that, thank you, Josh, is highlighted would be completely replaced. The motion on the floor is to completely replace that with this, and I'll read it. It's also in the chat. Point of order by H. Brown regarding personal attack by K. Pipkin. H. Brown addressed the offense and then makes a second point of order that M. Scanlon's amendment is still on the table. The second point is validated by parliamentarian A. Bejarano Estevez. And again, bad Spanish, I know it. Hunter. Oops, you're on mute.
Yep, sorry, my screen went black. Yeah, I just wanted to speak towards my motion.
Okay, can I recognize that in a moment? Because I think Carolyn might have a question. Carolyn, if you have a question, please speak up.
Well, I would like to make a point. I'm not sure what kind of point it is. It's a grammatical point. Is Chair most of this is in the present tense, but H. Brown raises a point of order regarding K. Pipkin's. Chair disagrees, and the point is ruled out of order. Second point of order by H. Brown that M. Scanlon's amendment is still on the table. This is what you're removing, right? Okay.
Yes.
Okay, that's what you're removing now. And in his proposed in the chat, there is another place where it's in past tense instead of present tense. And I just wanted, now I'd have to go into chat to do that. And that would
Okay,
kind of,
so
okay.
maybe I could help you with that and say, change it to point of order by H. Brown regarding personal attack by K. Pipkin. H. Brown addresses the offense, then makes a second point of order that M. Scanlon's amendment is still on the table. The second point is validated by parliamentarian.
Now that's all present tense. That's good.
Okay, and that's getting a thumbs up. So I'm going to copy that in to the new chat and change that to present tense. Hi, Isabella, you have your hand raised for a question.
Thank you, Madam Chair. A point of information to the chair. Would this amendment to the amendment have to still be seconded unless, of course, Hunter would revoke his original amendment? I hate to say it like this, but I know that we're right now getting in the weeds between points of information, points of order, and when motions are appropriate, and I believe I heard an amendment to the amendment on the floor.
Yeah, at one point you did, and it probably came spilling out of my mouth. And I was wrong because I was assuming that my revisions could be accepted, and they cannot be. So this is not an amendment to an amendment. This is a revision to the draft minutes as a standalone thing. And Josh, we see your meeting management chat screen right now instead of the minutes. There we go. Oh, there's the, oh, got all kinds of good stuff going on now. So a whole list of all the,
We'll get
all the
there.
stuff in the folder. That's all right. We're learning tonight. That's a beautiful looking agenda.
Back to March.
Boop, boop. Here we are. Thank you, friend. Okay, so Isabella, I hope that helps to answer your question.
Yes, Madam Chair, I was just about to put it in the chat. My apologies for the confusion. Thank you.
No, I created it, and welcome to the party. But I think we're clearer now. Thank you. Hunter, I saw a hand come up, come down. I bet you were clarifying also, right?
Madam Chair, I just wanted to note that it would be it would be okay even for you to have changed the tense in order to make it accurate. I think that'd be like a Scrivener's error. So we wouldn't need to vote on that. Sorry.
I see. Thank you. And so that could be the amendment to the amendment that Isabella was referring to. Great. But I'm glad that there's something there that allows the scribe to use their eraser and fix a tensing issue. Good. Okay, so the motion at hand is to replace that paragraph with the most recent one in the chat. I'm going to put a little check mark next to it only because I don't see an arrow. Oh, but wait, because we used Scribner, I'm going to put books next to it. So there's a books next to it. And that's the version that we're looking at right now. So if everybody could, I'd like to call for a vote as long as we feel that debate on this has been exhausted. Hi, Katie. Thank you for raising your hand.
I didn't notice that there was debate on this. Just a lot of talk about Robert's rules, and if it's possible, if I could speak against this motion, I would like to.
I appreciate that, and thank you for leaving your hand up. So those who'd like to speak for or against for this moment of debate, which we just had discussion about, but not debate about, I appreciate that. Thank you. Please do raise your hands if you'd like to speak. And we'll go ahead and recognize Katie, whose hand is up first, followed by Hunter and Lisa and anybody else. Tonight, I'd love it if we could try and keep our comments to 2 minutes. That'd be great. We have exciting stuff at the end of the meeting. So Katie, thank you for waiting for my one more editorial. You have the floor.
Thank you, Madam Chair. My speaking against this motion is based on attending the meeting. While I will admit I did not review the transcript, but I did attend the meeting, and I did not interpret any conversation during the meeting as personal attacks. I did note, that there were people addressing each other, but it did seem to be factual. And I have a lot of experience in my LD of personal attacks, and I'm very sensitive to them. So while I am saying that I did not review the transcript of that meeting, I was present, and I feel that I would have noticed if it was a personal attack. Now, that doesn't negate the feelings that it may have engendered, and those are valid feelings. And so I don't want to be saying something to invalidate someone's feelings. However, what I observed in that meeting was just factual statements, and while they were technically out of order because they were addressing, members addressing each other as opposed to addressing the chair, I didn't see those as personal attacks in nature. Thank you.
Thank you. And at 1minute and 10 seconds, thank you. Going to reset my timer and say, Hunter, you have the floor.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I would just like to point out that even if it were not a personal attack, under Robert's rules, according to David McDonald, parliamentarian for the state party and our DNC rep, who I reached out to after the June meeting, he has stated that by virtue of me stating I had a point of order in which I wish to address a personal attack, that should be included in the minutes. That is what he said. That is also what Scott Forbes said after I checked with him on the phone call after our chair notified the body that she had reached out to them. The fact is, despite what the previous speaker had stated, it was all false. I am not a member of the endorsement committee. I am not an alternate on the endorsement committee. I got a single invitation to a kickoff meeting that I could not attend. And even if I was a member, I couldn't attend those meetings.
Hunter,
I'd like to pause
your comments, and I'm pausing the timer as well. because right now, and I will double check with our parliamentarian, we're debating the statement addition to the minutes as opposed to the position of what happened in the meeting in March. So I'd love us to keep our conversation to the changing of the minutes, and Katie made her statement about this, and I should have paused that as well, although she was addressing something in the statement that is proposed with the books. So regarding this statement, thank you, and please continue.
I'm sorry, could you please clarify for me? I missed what I was stating that I was not able to state.
Rather than educating us on the intent of your comments in the meeting or the conversations you've had surrounding that meeting since then, right now our debate is about amending the minutes with the paragraph that you have proposed. So we're talking about the proposal of the paragraph for our minutes.
Okay, if we go back and we watch the video, I very clearly state that that point of order, I wish to address what I felt was a personal attack. Meetings that are held at 3 p.m. on a Monday are exclusionary. That was the full language. And according to David McDonald, I stated in my point of order that a personal attack occurred. According to him, that should be included in the minutes. Now, I then made a second, and I spoke to it, and I made a second point of order, and that's what's there. So my amendment clearly outlined exactly what happened. And if people have questions about it, rather than debating it, we could spend 30 seconds and watch the video.
Thank you.
2 hours and whatnot into it.
Thank you. And thank you for taking the time to write the paragraph that we're debating. I appreciate that. Thank you. Okay, Lisa, the floor is yours.
Thank you. Yes, I was also at the March meeting, and I have watched the video, and I agree with this revision of this amendment because this is in fact what was stated. The minutes don't decide whether or not Kat Pipkin personally attacked Hunter Brown. There's a whole separate process for that. The minutes reflect what was stated. And Hunter Brown did state, it's undisputable, that he wanted a point of order to address what he regarded as a personal attack. And that's just what the minutes do reflect. So if that's what the minutes do, again, the point is to reflect what was said. That's why we're taking out the part about disagreeing with the assertion and ruling it out of order, because that did not get said during the meeting. So that's just that's my position here, is like the minutes reflect what was said, and that's what he said, and we don't reflect what wasn't said. So anyhow, thank you for the time letting me speak. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you. Hi, Ian. You have the floor.
Hello. Hopefully my connection is working pretty good. So I think one thing we all need to consider here is that we are being asked to capture in the minutes something that someone else said in the meeting and what kind of rabbit hole that might create. So could I, in a future meeting, make a point of order for Lord knows what that would then have to be captured by the meeting minutes towards another person? I just feel like we should kind of leave the editorials out of it, because it could go a different direction in the future that whoever else doesn't like what was said. So thank you.
Thank you, Ian. I appreciate that. Is there anybody else who would like to comment on the paragraph that's being proposed we substitute in for the March minutes? Hi, Bunny. Thanks for raising your hand.
Yes, I would like to speak against it, because as I read it, it implies that there was agreement that there was a personal attack. The way it's presented, it seems to me that it implies that there was a personal attack. Not specifically, I feel personally attacked by this, but that it's how, and I'm wondering if others interpret it that way, that it, once we put it in the minutes, it looks like Pipkin made a personal attack on Brown and that that's accepted.
Yes, I understand your statement. Thank you for that comment. Right now, we are not amending this. This is a paragraph as proposed by Hunter, so we would be adding this or not adding this. Further amendments could be addressed later, but we could only address one at a time. So thank you, Bunny. Hi, Katie. Thanks for raising your hand.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I thought that we could propose an amendment at this time for this motion. If that is not in order, then I will hold until later, but I did put the proposed amendment wording into the chat if it is in order now.
I apologize, Katie. Can you say that again for me?
I
see.
thought it would be in order to make a proposed, make a motion to amend the proposed language, and
Yes.
I made that the amended proposed language into the chat, but I just heard from you right before you called on me that we're not considering any amendments at this time. We can consider them later. So,
Correct. One,
okay.
one at a time. And I apologize, I didn't scroll my chat forward to notice that there was more there. So I'm sorry about that. To make you repeat yourself.
No worries. I will hold this proposal until it's in order then. Thank you.
Thank you. Hi, Hunter. Do you have a comment on your proposed paragraph?
In the interest of saving time, I would note that there's only one amendment on the floor, and that is mine.
Yes.
Katie could offer this as an amendment to my amendment, and I would second it.
I appreciate that very much, and I think we all just did a bunch of learning about amendments and how they follow course. So wonderful. And now we're up to 41 people learning that. Before it was just 39. So good news. Seeing no more hands raised, I think we have exhausted discussion and debate, and I'd like to call for everybody to utilize their React button at the bottom of the screen. Near the bottom, once you press React, there are a series of icons. One is a green circle with a check mark, and one is a red circle with an X mark. The check would be to accept the proposed revision from Hunter Brown. That's in our chat, and it has the little book next to it. And if you could vote, hi, Hunter, thanks. Would you like me to copy it back down so it's super clear?
No, I just, if I seconded Katie's amendment to my amendment, are we voting on Katie's amendment first and then
Nope, we're only voting on you now. Just your amendment right now. In fact, I'm going to put the amendment that we're doing
Okay.
right here. I'm going to copy that. It's going to be the most current thing in your chat, Hunter's original writing, and then we will come around for any additional amendments. Hi, Katie. Thanks again.
Hi, I'm so sorry. I believe that if the original proposer of the motion would accept my amendment, it's considered a friendly amendment and it can be made on the fly. But I would defer to the parliamentarian to inform all of us if I'm correct or if I just heard it from a wild parliamentarian in my LD.
Wildcat parliamentarians. I think that those phrases don't often go together, but I would be really happy to ask our parliamentarian. And in fact, I wonder, Hunter, are you aware of a friendly amendment like that? Is that something you want to do?
I'll wait to hear from Tara.
Okay.
Once a motion is made, it belongs to the body and not to the maker of the motion. So there is no friendly amendment for Hunter to agree or not agree to. However, Katie could very quickly move it as an amendment to the amendment that is allowed, and possibly we can, by unanimous consent, accept that as an amendment to the amendment and then go back to the original amendment. But there is no friendly amendment.
Thank you. That is second level. Robert's rules. I feel like I am just in a graduate class. Thank you for that help. Katie, you have your hand raised again.
So I think I understand the parliamentarian said that I can make this motion right now as an amendment to the amendment. Is that what she said? And that it could be done by acclamation to accept my amendment to the amendment?
Hunter is saying yes. So, and since Hunter is the maker of the original amendment, I think that we can.
We would need a second and then.
I'll second.
Okay.
Seconded by Hunter. So the first motion was made by Hunter and seconded by Lisa. And then this amendment to the amendment has been made by Katie and seconded by Hunter. And I believe that we are entertaining them both. No, both together. I think I first need all votes to come down, please. Because I'm afraid I'm not going to get this right. I feel that I would feel comfortable if we first voted on Hunter's wording and then had a unanimous consent to the amendment of it by Katie. Would that be suitable? I'm asking the parliamentarian, and Hunter's saying I might have gotten it backwards.
Yeah, exactly. We need to vote on the amendment to the amendment first, and then if that is accepted, vote on the original amendment as amended.
Okay.
But again, I think you can ask for unanimous consent. We can at a different date discuss the difference between acclamation and unanimous consent, but unanimous consent is just like, yeah, this is going to pass, let's go.
Okay, and you're saying right now I can say it's unanimous consent?
No, you can ask it
Thank
if
you.
there is unanimous consent, and if anyone objects, then we go to a counted vote.
Thank you. At this time, I ask if there's unanimous consent or if we should go to a counted vote. Does anybody object to unanimous consent? If there are no objections, we will consider Katie's amendment approved. And I see no objections. Hi, Kat, you have a question?
Hi. I'm just, so what are we agreeing to?
We're agreeing to amend Hunter's amendment.
To be Katie's
To,
statement.
to be Katie's
I
statement.
see. Thank you very much for the clarification.
And I'll put Katie's statement in the chat so it's the most current thing. Okay, so we can take our votes down. Are there any objections? Are there any objections? Please just come off a chat or come off of mute or raise your hand if there are any objections. Super. Seeing none, we have amended Hunter's original proposed paragraph change. And now what is on the floor is to amend the minutes from March with this paragraph originally from Hunter and amended by Katie with your approval. Point of order by H. Brown, asserting he felt that there was a personal attack by K. Pipkin. H. Brown addresses the offense and then makes a second point of order that M. Scanlon's amendment is still on the table. The second point is validated by parliamentarian A. Bejaran Estevez. And at this point, I would like to ask that the screen share end so that we can get as many on the on our screens as possible. And I would like to ask if I'm going to assume we do not need debate because we've just voted on that. We've debated the original and we've voted on the amendment to it. And now we will have a vote using our reaction buttons to make this change to the March amendments, or I'm sorry, March minutes, different and more. Please use your react button if you are comfortable making this change to the minutes. That would be the green circle with the check. If you would rather not, it would be the red circle with the X. Super. Just looking to see, we have a few voting members. Yep, looks like Dominic's stepped away for a moment. Just want to make sure all voting members have a chance to participate. We have a guest speaker who is in the waiting room and can come in at any time. Rachel Glass is vice chair of LD 34, I believe. Okay. I think it's fair to call voting closed now. It looks like everybody other than guests. I see. Oh, thank you, Dominic, for using coffee as an abstention, as we have done in the past. And thank you for bringing that up because I should have mentioned that. I appreciate it very much. Lovely. I would love the tally committee to give us a quick count if that's possible, please.
Looks like we have 25 in favor, 5 against, and 2 abstentions.
Wonderful. I think that that amendment passes in that case. Thank you. Thank you, everybody. Please lower your votes. I appreciate working through that and getting to a point of resolution for the March meeting. That's wonderful. Next up are the minutes for the June meeting, and I am embarrassed to say I have added some comments here as well, but I would like to say that they are taken from an email to me from a member of our group, Hunter Brown. So I wonder, Hunter, if I could copy those into the chat and if you could are interested in taking author responsibility. Well, if you
Sure.
want to think about that or look at them, I see 2 hands raised, Tara and Chris. Tara, thank you for waiting.
We still have to vote to approve the March.
Yes, that we do. I wonder if, given the scrutiny we've had, if it's possible for me to ask if there's any objection to adopting them as amended now and written, and if they can then be passed. Is that in order? Great. Any objections to these minutes as amended and reviewed tonight? Any further objections at all? Seeing no objections, one last time. I think we will accept the March minutes as they are. And thank you for the good reminder to adopt the fulsomeness of those minutes, not just one paragraph. Thank you, thank you. Next, we'll move on to the June minutes. Hunter proposed, and I will copy this into the chat, a paragraph in the June minutes about adopting the minutes, and which we did not do. We postponed the March minutes. The importance of this, of what Hunter wrote, is not that there was a huge amount of substantive work, but that there were motions and or the motions for amendment and points of order, and per Roberts, motions and points of order all need to be noted in the minutes. So I appreciated that that Hunter took the time to review the video and audio and transcribe it for us. I'll pop it into the chat. And I will also note that I had to continue it to 2 comments because we ran past the limit for comments in a Google Doc. I will go ahead and read what it is now. In the portion of the June meeting minutes where we adopt the agenda, and we're working on adopting minutes, we adopted April and May, and this is about the discussion of the March meeting minutes specifically. And here we go. As submitted by Hunter Brown via email to me, which I appreciate very much, Hunter, thank you. Isabella Pastor motions to adopt the agenda, which was adopted by acclamation. Hunter Brown motions to amend lines 18 through 21 of the chair report in the March meeting minutes. Lisa Rivera seconds. Chair Baisley attempts to dismiss the motion by removing the March minutes from consideration altogether and to postpone them for a later date, and to proceed with the approval of April and May minutes. Point of order from L. Rivera. And this is something I learned when you're writing minutes. Once a person's full name has been said once, you just use the initial followed by the last name from there on. If a motion is moved and seconded, can it just be tabled or pocketed like that? I'm not positive. I would like the parliamentarian to answer that. Chair Baisley rules that her motion was for approval of all, so amendments were not allowed to take place during the meeting, but Chair would allow them to be workshopped offline. L. Rivera reiterates her ask to the parliamentarian whether the process the Chair described was correct. The Chair gives the floor to Tim Burns, who motions to postpone deliberation of H. Brown's motion to the next meeting. A. Beharan Estevez rules that the chair made a statement, not a motion, and H. Brown's motion was seconded, so it belongs to the body and is currently on the floor. Chair Baisley asks how to proceed with T. Burns' motion. A. Beharan states that it is out of order. T. Burns notes that a motion to postpone is in order. Chair calls for additional guidance. A. Ashiafu states that a motion to postpone supersedes previous motions. A. Beharan reverses the previous decision. Tara Gallagher notes that there hasn't been a second. Motion to postpone is seconded by K. Pipkin. T. Burns speaks in favor. Chair states that she would like to speak in favor before ceding time to T. Gallagher, who speaks against. M. Scanlon speaks against. A. Schrader speaks in favor. Should be Aaron Schrader. Sorry, my bad. Chair Baisley speaks in favor. H. Brown speaks against. Chair Baisley speaks in favor. Again, Galaxy Marshall speaks against. Motion passes 36 in favor, 6 against, 0 abstentions. That's not noted, but we could add that. H. Brown motions to postpone consideration of March meeting minutes and approve the April and May. So all of that, which outlines the discussion with motions and points of order regarding in the text box around the adopt agenda and approve meeting minutes section. So I think because Hunter was able to write this and propose it in advance, it came from the floor, not from the chair, just came through me, that can count as a motion. And I wonder if there is a second. And I think I'm seeing an error in here that I might have exceeded the text limit in the chat. I apologize. I thank you, Kat, for raising your hand, and thank you, Lisa. You'll be right after Kat. Kat.
I'm not seeing anything in the chat. Did you paste it in at some point somewhere?
I did, but maybe the error message I'm getting is that it's just too darn long. So let me try this. What if I take this out? Okay. Let's do this. I did. I swear I did. Because I can see it, but I think it didn't like me because it was too long. So I'm going to try again. And thank you for bringing it up. And thank you all for listening patiently. And I'm going to do it in a few different chunks. There's part. Here's some more. Think we got it now. Okay, thank you. Now that I can turn my attention back to the screen. Lisa, I see you have your hand up.
I was just going to second it.
Thank you. Thank you. Kat, thank you for waiting. Apologies.
Oh, thank you. Well, as we've already discovered, I'm not a Robert's Rules expert. But I don't remember that minutes need to go into this level of detail. I thought that just something was proposed, something passed, here was the vote. Was that can someone help me Madam Chair, could you help me understand why we're suddenly doing this level of detail?
So my understanding, and I'll ask for confirmation from our parliamentarian, is that our meeting minutes need to reflect all motions, seconds, and votes, and all points of order or points of order. And typically, we've also indicated, and I appreciate having this record of who speaks. It's just helpful to try and scratch your head and remember, what did I hear and how did I learn that? So that's why we've gone into this level of detail. It is uncommon for us, and this meeting will be similar, for us to spend so much time with so many motions amending or discussing minutes. But hopefully, as we're all learning, we'll be able to produce things that look a little bit more like a bulleted list of this was proposed by, seconded by, voted on. Because as we discussed in our previous March minutes conversation, we won't be discussing the nuances of what was discussed in the editorialized version or verbatim version. Instead, we'll just be voting on actions taken, because my understanding is actions taken is what Roberts says is most important. Thank you for waiting. And Ricky, you have your hand up, followed by Hannah.
Oh, I was just gonna say, this is recorded on YouTube, so we do have a recording of what's happening, right?
Yes, we do. And
Yeah.
in fact,
Okay. Sorry. I'll step off.
thank you. Appreciate that. Thanks. Hi, Hannah.
I just have a grammatical question about the motion.
Mhm.
It always goes H. Brown motions to postpone. Shouldn't it be H. Brown moves to postpone? H. Brown moves this, moves that, and then, or am I just, is this wrong? Is this,
I am not sure. And I would be happy to do the research after the fact if that's something that could be a scribe's correction, as similarly with tense. And I'll give our parliamentarian a moment to think about that. Ricky, I see you have your hand up. Do you have a question? How about Isabella?
My bad. Sorry. I forgot
That's
to lower my hand.
Thanks, Ricky. Thank you. Hi, Isabella.
Thank you, Madam Chair. A point of information, would the link to the June minutes be shared in the chat, or the sharing privileges be altered so that it's be accessible via viewing privileges? I'm trying to follow the link on the email, and I believe it sent a request access to some manager, but I have not been confirmed. So thank you.
Sure, I'm going to go ahead and put this link in the chat.
Madam Chair, can I address that?
Yes, thank you, Kat.
If anybody is having trouble accessing the document linked, the issue would be that possibly they are logged in to Google using a different address. And so if they would like to private message me, I can confirm what address we have, and they would be able to, we could update it.
Yes, thank you. It's such an important point because we want everybody to have access to this. But I know I have a few different email addresses, and sometimes I'm not logged in with the right one to give myself that access. And Kat, you have your hand raised.
Oh, I'm sorry. No, that was it.
Okay. Okay, so we have had this, and again, apologies for not noticing that it didn't cut and paste correctly into the chat, but this 1, 2, 3, 4, 4 blue boxes in the chat that has been moved and seconded to add to the June meeting minutes in the box on your screen that's highlighted in it's highlighted, not sure what that color is. And it would be added in the box on the right regarding the actions taken during that meeting, motions and seconds and points of order. Would we like to have debate on this? We've had some discussion on it. Seeing no hands raised for debate, I don't think we need to do that. I'll dispense with debate and ask us to please use our react buttons to approve this amendment to the June minutes. Again, the green circle with the check for adding, the red circle with the X for not adding, and coffee cup for abstaining. Give just a couple more seconds for folks to have a chance. Seeing lots of last-minute votes having been done, I'd love to ask the committee to please weigh in on this amendment to the June meeting minutes.
Madam Chair, it looks like we have 18 in favor, 6 against, and 6 abstentions.
And I believe by my math that this amendment passes and is added. Thank you very much. Votes can come down. I'd like to ask if anybody else has any other changes, additions, corrections that they'd like to take to the group regarding the June meeting minutes. Any other questions, additions? Anything else? Seeing no other hands, I'd like to go ahead and again ask us to vote to approve the June meeting minutes as they are written and amended. Please use your green check or red X. Just a few more seconds for any additional votes. Great, seeing none. I think I can see only green checks, no abstentions, but certainly some non-votes. We'll consider these minutes passed. Thank you very much. Hi, Hannah. Thanks for raising your hand.
Just to clarify, there was 1 abstention.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate it. I missed
Yep.
that. Thank you very much. Appreciate that. Okay, super. I think it's time for us to move on then to our committee reports. And I'd like to first ask whoever is now prepared to speak on behalf of the Tech Committee to have the floor and give the Tech Committee report. I see Chris Porter entering the room as well. Thank you. Nice to have you, Chris. Thank you.
Hey, so tech committee report is pretty short. There's an app for Zoom that has developed by Aaron and others here that lets you run a timer on your participant video. If you're technically savvy and would like to participate in the test of this app, please email technology-chair@kcdims.org, which I'll put in the chat here. And just to give a quick look at what this handy little timer looks like. Let me just share the screen over here. And so it's really simple. I think there's 3 different sizes, small, medium, large, depending on how blatant you want this in the face of the people who are speaking. I recommend as large as possible. But it works. I've seen it work. We've used it here. So good work to the tech committee. They did a great job here. Let us know if you want to use it for your meetings. Thanks.
I can share that one of the super things about it is that it overlays the box in 3 different sizes. So it's super visible when you need to use timers. We find in the endorsement meeting that it's very, very, very helpful and easier to use than Blue Sky Timer, an app we've purchased in the past, and much easier to see than the timer that comes with Zoom. So big thanks to Aaron for that. It is really amazing. And I don't recall if it plays a noise like the Academy Awards. Don't remember. Kat says no, does not. Super. Thank you for the nod of the head. One other thought from Aaron and our tech committee is that he did send an email to all the LDs asking them to weigh in on the possibility or any interest in joining forces in writing a grant to the state party so that we could get a larger, potentially be approved for a larger pool of funds that might allow us to do something a little bit bigger than our individual LDs might do solo. So if you have interest, there were a few proposed projects. I encourage you to check your inbox from Aaron, or write to, is that correct? technology-chair@kcdems.org, and say, hey, Aaron, I'd be interested in rallying forces to submit an elevated grant request and continue that conversation. I thought some of the ideas were really amazing. It'd be nice to get a lot of bang for a bunch of bucks. Next on the committee report is Vice Chair for Outreach, Andrew Ashiafu. And I'm not sure that Andrew is in the room. Is Andrew with us right now? Bit of a night. No? Okay. Andrew's report, super short, and I will share it. The Pride Parade was a giant success. Tons and tons of people. Our shirts were super cool. Thank you, everybody, for really representing Democrats by showing up, by marching with joy, and in many cases, wearing easily identifiable shirts. As a follow-on to that, we had an amazing time at the Chinatown Seafair Parade. It was my first time either attending or participating, and I learned that this was a really lovely event that I hope we do next year as well. It was like a small town parade, except we were in the heart of Seattle. So truly a community effort, and the floats were, or not floats, but the marching groups were heartfelt and warm and lovely, and were from 4-year-olds participating to 84-year-olds. It was a wide range of community groups. We were enormously well received. And not only did the children like our candy, but the parents appreciated our little flyer with a QR code to our website and linking to our endorsements. We had lots of candidates with us, and they appreciated us doing it as well. So look forward to this next year. Put it on your calendar early. Sunday night is sometimes a funny night to be headed down to the CID, but I highly recommend it, and I hope you'll join me next year. That's Andrew's report. Next up is fundraising in the school board power teams, and I will offer from that group as well that the power teams did a really fabulous job. We have 15 school board races with primaries, and that is amazing. And sometimes it's primaries because we've recruited so many Democrats to run. And I just have to say, I'm so proud of the groups that went out to find these incredible candidates. We are entering a new phase with the power teams, and that is because we're in the middle of primary season. We are taking some of the funds we have raised, which I'm quite pleased with so far, and we will use those funds to do some targeted text banking in just a handful of races where we face very, very strong Moms for Liberty candidates. So we're focusing on the races that are going to be the hardest for a Democrat to win. And they are South and East and North. We wish that we were as fortunate as the city of Seattle, although there's an abundance of candidates. Most of them are shades of blue, and none of them are the ruby red that we're seeing in some of our outlying districts. So we're working toward that achievement. And so if you or any of your compatriots and your LDs are people who love text banking, please pop their name in a private chat message to me, and I'll make sure we get them connected. I think we have a dozen text bankers right now, and those messages will be going out this week. So that's pretty exciting for the power teams. I would like to pause there for the treasurer's report, and then we'll go to an adjunct conversation during the PCO committee report. Diana, would you like to speak to our treasury?
Sure. Well, I first want to shout out that Erin has been doing an amazing job, not just uh, pulling together new technology for us from scratch, like what is that about? But also, he's been cutting back on some of the services and finding other ways to do things that mean that we are spending less money than we need to, than we planned on, pardon me. We're spending what we need. We're not planning spending as much as we planned. So there's some pretty big savings in there over the next several months. And we are um, we are still breaking even with the school board project. So go us. It's great to see that we're spending the money that we're bringing in. And if folks have questions about how any of this works, or if you need QR links to send out to other folks, um, happy to answer any questions, but don't want to spend too much time.
Thank you. Thanks, Diana. And I will say that a number of folks over the course of a month do have questions, and Diana's made herself very, very available. Email is the easiest way to go, especially because you can give the fullness of the question, but also a signal chat. I think it's hardest to reach you on the phone, so email's probably the best.
Yep.
But we're feeling much more confident than we were, and still looking forward to a huge celebration of primary wins and powering up to head toward the general when we all get together in September on our final date for our school board event.
I am looking forward to seeing everyone there.
Yeah, thank you, Diana. Thanks very much. All righty. Next up, I'd like to pivot to something that is actually really interesting learning for us and kind of exciting for me too. And that is, as a part of our PCO committee report, we do have some slides, and then we're going to pivot to two guests in the room, Shirag and Kevin, who are going to talk about using Vote Builder data to build and strengthen our PCO ranks. But what I really want to do is share with you that our outreach for new PCOs has gone really well. I kind of sounded the alarm because I looked at the King County Republican site, and they were touting something like 58 new PCOs this year. Well, it turns out we have had more than that join us, and we're already leading. So we're doing pretty well, but our goal is to get all our LDs to have above a 50% rate of PCO participation in their precincts. We'll call that staffed. I'm going to share my screen. A little clumsy, but we all know that I'm a little clumsy like that. So apologies there. And these are some events that the PCO committee is working on. Right now, we are leading a Seattle canvas to support Dion Foster for City Council, position 9, and Erica Evans for City Attorney this coming Sunday, starting at 11 at the Fremont Sunday Market. We'll pop the link into chat in a little bit, unless somebody else already has that link. That would be great. Next up, we're joining forces and amplifying the message from the First LD, who are running a series of canvases because they've got some cities on fire. Woodinville, you've heard me talk about, it's a hornet's nest out there. So we have a canvas that we're joining them with tomorrow evening, then this Sunday. Zabella, during new business, will put more info or in chat then or now, either way. Then Wednesday the 30th in Kenmore, and then circling back down to Kirkland on Sunday, August 3rd at 11 o'clock. Kirkland could really use our help. All you folks who are looking for a place to spend some energy, highly recommend you join the Seattle or the First LD canvases. Or finally, come on out to the 5th to help support Victoria Hunt for State Senate. You might remember Victoria was appointed to this seat after the passing of Bill Ramos, and she is under fire. In the last month, she's had $160,000 of independent expenditures against her. So we just need to motivate and activate our Democratic voters to show up so that we can build momentum through the primary and into the general. So the next canvass for Victoria Hunt will be August 2nd, 10 o'clock at the Tibbetts Valley Park, which is in Issaquah. And Thomas at victoriahunt.com is the place to RSVP. You can also message me in all of the different ways that you can reach me, and I'll connect you. These are the stats that Amy was hoping to share. PCO staffing by LD. Hats off to the first at 51%. Similarly, 48th at 48%. I mean, the 46th, we should all just put our hands together and clap. 70% of their precincts have Democratic PCOs. Amazing. Our fifth LD has been working hard, and we're up to 34%, and we'll be able to share with you in just a second how we climbed out of the 20s into the 30s and got there. So take a look at your LD numbers and see if what you're about to learn might be helpful to boosting the ranks of PCOs. No matter what, even if you're at 70, go, look for 72, 73, 75%. We can, until we're at 100, we will be insatiable for PCOs. And just a quick note that these are for the King County precincts only. So for instance, in the 12th, they are in 3 counties. Much better, used to be 4, but now they're in 3. And with the 28% is just the precincts within King County. So I'm going to stop sharing and pass the baton to our friends, Shirag. And oh, awesome. Thank you so much for popping those links in. I appreciate that so much. I love coming back to the meeting and seeing the chat busy with good links. To Shirag and Kevin Nichols, who are going to share a little bit about PCO outreach. I see Kevin came on screen, and I'm looking for Shirag.
I'm here, but for some reason my camera is not working. So Kevin can go first while I try to troubleshoot, but worst case scenario.
Thanks.
Awesome.
And Kevin, do you need screen sharing, or are you okay just to chat us up?
I've got some slides to share. So
you do? Okay.
And I am in the parking lot of my daughter's soccer practice connected through my cell phone. So if I cut out, please tell me, and I'll pause and stop and try again.
Sure.
But
Thank you.
yeah, let me first share these. 1 second. Let's see if this works.
Just confirming that Kevin has screen sharing. Great. Thank you.
Okay, you guys tell me if you can see what I'm sharing.
I got it.
All right, I'm going to try to go to slideshow mode. This is always risky. Okay, can you still see what I'm sharing?
Sure can. We're seeing just the screen. It says tools for PCO recruiting and vote builder.
Yeah, so awesome. Thank you, Beth, and thanks for the invitation tonight. My first King County Dems meeting. What I wanted to share with everybody were some tools that we have found useful within both the 5th and Issaquah School District for recruiting purposes. I think these are generalizable to other folks that are trying to recruit as well. So I'm hoping this is useful, and just to let everybody know, this is data that is out there. To preface that, I think what I of course is like most important for recruiting is, if you know somebody that is good and you know somebody that would be great and you have a personal connection, of course that's better. This is really when you know that there's a hole on your PCO map and you want to fill it. So what do? What are some tools to do that? Not to override the utility of a personal connection. So with that, there's 2 pieces of data that I want to point out, and then 1 tool. The first piece of data that I want to point out is that in 2024, King County Dems did a PCO interest survey. This is so I'm guessing everybody here is familiar with Vote Builder. So one of the things that you can look at in Vote Builder is this survey question for the surveys that are associated with your campaign, which is in this case, this was in 2024. Casey Dems went out and asked people, "Do you want to become a PCO?" It turns out that this was a pretty big survey. This was 2,288 people that were surveyed, and almost 1,400 of them said yes, they have some interest in that. These, take this with a bit of a grain of salt, because, it's always easy to get somebody to say, yeah, I'm maybe interested in volunteering. Whether they're going to do it or not, who knows? But like, this is still a really good starting point potentially as we're trying to recruit more PCOs, and just look for people that are potentially interested. If we can narrow down to this small group that has said, yeah, maybe, getting them from a maybe to a yes is that's a lot easier than just cold calling people in the wild, right? And when I look through this manually, there's a good number of people that on this list that now, like, I recognize are actual PCOs now in both the fifth and the 41st. So I think this is real. I think this is a good data source. A little bit of the details behind this, just so everybody knows what this is. These are Dems in here. This is primarily focused on Dem scores over 90. I don't know why these two people that had a Dem score of 20 were surveyed, but they were, and they're interested. Maybe we don't recruit them, but most of these people in here are probably going to be, towards the good end of this yes list. And importantly, this is 1,400 people. This is all of King County, but 1,400 people that said, yeah, maybe I'd like to be a PCO. So this is a really good opportunity to have a list of people that have already said, yeah, I think this is something I'd like to do, and that folks can reach out to and try to recruit. Also importantly, this survey covered the entire county. This is like many maps. This map is approximately a population density map of King County. So yeah, we've got a lot in Seattle, and then diminishing out as we go further east, but it's pretty comprehensive. So this hopefully will be useful for precincts across the county. Just to note, these aren't actually available in all Vote Builder accounts. You have to have a Vote Builder account that is associated with King County Democrats, which is not most campaigns, because this was a survey through a campaign. But Beth has this as an exported turf, and she can forward this on to folks that are interested. Just reach out to her, and she can make sure that gets out to the right folks. Okay. Second point I want to make. In the 5th and Issaquah School District, we've been making good use of the volunteer propensity score within Vote Builder, and I want to go into detail about this. And if this is really the one thing that I hope people take away from this presentation tonight. I want to go through the different scores that are available in Vote Builder and why I think this is a good one to use for recruiting. First off is Dem score. So I'm sure everybody in here is familiar with Dem score. This is this is this number from 0 to 100, and it's important to understand what this really is. This is what the DNC at a national level, and then with additional data that the state and county have paid to improve over the past few years. This is what a big model says that any individual's likelihood of voting for a generic Democrat is over a generic Republican. This is putting in a bunch of metadata. It doesn't know how you voted, right? So at an individual level, this can be off a lot. But for canvassing, this is good. This is what we build our canvases out of when we're building turfs for our campaigns. This is what we say. If we want to be targeting strong Dems, we're going to put a Dem score over 60, 70, something like that. If we want to be targeting independents, we're going to go for 40 to 60, something like that. This is really good for finding people who you want to get out the vote about, and for canvassing. It's not a great tool for recruiting, and that's the point I want to make. Likely party is another one. Likely party. So this shows up in minivan. I don't know why this does instead of Dem score, but likely party shows up in minivan. This is the strong Dem, leans Dem, etc. This is like if you go through Vote Builder and you see the bright blue or the bright red. This is what this is about. This is mostly about data for donors. The best of my understanding here, please correct me if I'm wrong. I don't have this officially, but I've pieced this together. This is mostly built from public records of donations to federal campaigns. So there's other data in there too, but there's a lot of data on here based on donors. So if you're looking at likely party, again, not necessarily the best thing to go out and use to recruit for PCOs or people to run for office or new members. And what I really want to highlight is this third category in Vote Builder that I think is underutilized, and this is the volunteer propensity score. What this is, again, very big model. There's a ton of stuff that goes into this. It's all proprietary. I don't have any special insights here. I've tried to figure out what I can, but from what I can tell, this is lots of metadata about a person, if they've responded to surveys, things like that, that the DNC can then use, run a model on, and say, how likely is this person to volunteer for a given Democratic Party specific organization's needs? I think this is useful across the board, from membership driving, PCOs, all the way up to trying to recruit people to run for office. And I'll give an example of that in a moment. But this is the key takeaway that I hope comes out of this for PCO recruiting. Volunteer propensity score is a really useful tool. And then it comes down to how do you use that? So in Vote Builder, if you're familiar with Vote Builder, you'll be familiar with building turfs using scores. The ones that I bet you guys all use the most is this DNC Dem Party support up here. That's not the one highlighted in red, but that's how we say, like, are we going to build a turf of mostly Democrats or a broader turf of more folks, right? That's not what this is about. This is DNC volunteer propensity, and that's what I want to highlight as a specifically useful tool for highlighting people to get out and do stuff, right? So this is where it is in Vote Builder. Go to scores, go down to the DNC volunteer propensity, and you'll find this for any area that you have access to in Vote Builder. From there, a few graphs. I'm a nerd. I have to show some graphs, but I just want to I'm putting these up here so you know how to build these on your own. So this is a graph of the DNC volunteer propensity scores for everybody in King County. So there's roughly 750,000 people that have DNC volunteer propensity scores. Not everybody does. There's about 1.3 million voters in King County. Not everybody gets a score. If it's unidentified, don't worry about it, right? But this is just to show, like, if you're going out and you're saying, hey, I want to look through my district, whatever that looks like, and look for people that are likely to volunteer for stuff, whether that's to join your LD, to become a PCO, to run for office. A volunteer propensity score of around somewhere around 3 to 5, somewhere in there. That's a good cutoff. Once above that, you get below that, it's probably not that useful. Above that, you're going to get a good number of folks. You can keep going up if you have if you don't have many people that you can talk to. But 3 to 5 is what we have found has been useful. One more graph. Again, I'm a nerd. I apologize. I just want to show one more. So this is showing the same type of thing, just to kind of make the point of, if you're building out these turfs yourself, and by turf here, I mean a recruiting turf, right? Of going into Vote Builder, so putting in DNC volunteer propensity score, what's the minimum I'm using? This is how many people in King County a given volunteer propensity score would pick. Once you get up to somewhere around 1, 2, 3, 4 or so, you're getting this is kind of like the upper echelons of who the volunteers are. Just to check and kind of reality check this. Once you get up into like 17 or so, then you might be the King County Democrats chair, for example. That would be about where you would land. If you can go a little bit lower down, then there's still lots of volunteers there that are good to go for, and lots of PCOs that are potentially recruitable. So 3+, 4+ if you want to be more stringent, 5+ if you want to be maximally stringent. But that's how you would build these things on your own. And again, if anybody is interested in doing this, I'm happy to talk through the details of it. Finally, I just want to put out one other tool that I think is useful. In the 5th, we've been trying to recruit more PCOs. Something that I think is useful to help people visualize who is around them is just a simple map of what are the precincts that have a PCO? What are the precincts that don't have a PCO? Because far better than any of these data sources, far better than any of these big models that just kind of put people in these little buckets, would be, hey, I know somebody that lives over there, but I didn't know that precinct is empty, right? So these are tools that I would encourage people to make. This is one that I made for the 5th, just to say, what precincts are open, what precincts aren't. I'll drop this link in the chat afterwards so folks can look at this if they're interested. I'm happy to help people make these for other precincts as well. It needs a little bit of help from PCO chairs within an LD, because you need a list of, like, who's actually real and who's not to make this real. It's not all easily doable from public data, but from a recruiting perspective, just like a tool, I think this is the kind of thing that can help people that are interested in recruiting recognize that, hey, I know somebody who's one precinct over. Maybe they would be interested in being appointed, or maybe they would be interested in being appointed even if they don't live there to represent that in the interim period. So again, like third tool I want to talk through, this is it. So just to summarize, three tools that I wanted to communicate to people. One, King County Dems in 2024 did a PCO survey. There's a list of a few thousand people who say they want to be PCOs. If you want to get access to that, talk to Beth. Two, if you are in Vote Builder trying to build recruiting turfs as opposed to canvassing turfs or something like that, use DNC volunteer propensity score, go for 3 up, 4 up, or 5 up, something like that, and you're going to get some good people. Finally, maps are helpful. I'm kind of a maps nerd. I'm happy to help other people make maps as well. Just need some data to put into it. And you can get tools like this to help with your own recruiting efforts.
Kevin, thank you. You're getting all kinds of messages about how this is a total game changer. And I'm so grateful that you're bringing this to all of us. It's really amazing to see that in this Issaquah School Board seat.
Yeah, I missed a slide.
Yeah, it's really incredible. 3 volunteers cold called about 300 people with a Dem score over 85. And of those three, of them filed to run for office.
Yeah.
Incredible.
So I think this is a good example. Like it's hard to know what success looks like here, right? But like running for a local office is kind of a weird thing that's hard to ask people to do, right? So if you are this is we had a situation in our district where we really needed to recruit. And we used this particular approach. Focusing on volunteer propensity scores to focus our cold calling, because we only had a couple of people that could make calls. And we actually got a bunch of people to actually run for office, which is about which is hard, right? Like, I mean, there's all sorts of data out there on how many times people have to be asked to run for office. These people just ran after a couple of touch points. Also, what I see from this is that, like, there's all sorts of folks out there who are just on kind of like on the fence of, they want to help. They have like an innate propensity to want to help and want to volunteer, but they don't know how. In the case of running for office, it's, well, hey, you have to know that there's this random month in May when I have to fill out a form, right? Like, that's kind of a bizarre thing to have to know. Most people don't know that. Having a tool to identify that can help. In the case of a PCO, well, you have to know, like, what is a PCO? How many normal people actually know that, right? Not many. So this is just a tool to help identify the people that can be pushed over the edge to volunteer. And we've got it. We've all got it through Vote Builder. So just making sure that everybody knows it's available and that this is the number to use when you're trying to identify those folks.
Fantastic, Kevin. Thank you so much. Did I happen to hear somewhere in there that if folks wanted to contact you for a little jump start on this,
Yeah,
there,
I'm happy to talk to anybody. I am very passionate about this. I want us to get more PCOs. I want us to get more good leaders. So I'm happy to help others help others. So let
awesome,
me know.
beautiful. Kevin, thank you very, very, very much. Really a ton. Thank you very much. And with that, I'd like to pass the baton to another really amazing, driven, PCO focused the volunteer, and that is Shirag, whose camera is not working, but he is able to speak, and he'll drop some links into the chat for us. So thank you, Kevin. Stay in case there's some questions that bubble up a little bit later. But Shirag, the floor is yours.
Thanks, Beth, and thanks, Kevin. That introduction is way too nice. Nice to see you all. I think I know most of the folks in the chat, in the room, in the Zoom room. I'm sorry I can't get the camera to work, but mostly I'm here to talk about the new PCO handbook that Isabella sent around. And for folks who haven't seen it, I will drop it in the chat right now. We haven't updated our state party PCO handbook in years. I think the last one was 2018, 2016. So it's been a minute, and we were excited to update it. It went through the state party committees and got approved, and it's been officially released, and it's on the state party website. So feel free to utilize that. And I'd say once you recruit PCOs the way that Kevin described, you can send them this. We try to make it simple, and the last one was like 50 pages, so more than any of us probably have read of PCO content. So we try to make it digestible and easy, and include some videos. So um, in a different life, I guess, and with my different hat on, I've been working with TBW to create these PCO videos just to raise awareness about what precincts and PCOs are. Those videos are linked within the handbook, so people can either read what they're interested in, they can watch a video, whatever their learning style is. Um, and Beth, was there anything else you wanted me to add?
Love your videos, and thank you so much for taking that huge project on, along with our own Isabella. I really appreciate it. They're really turning out beautifully, and I do love a quick video. Gives me a lot of comfort in what I might struggle through reading a bit. So thanks for coming at us from all the angles.
Of course. And just to add one quick thing, the TBW team was able to capture one of the LD5 appointment processes. So there'll be a third video coming out that kind of explains what does it look like for a PCO to appoint or recommend appointments, and how does that process work? Because, as you guys all know, it doesn't happen very often. So we're hoping to kind of tell that story, and I'll be sure to pass along the finished video by the end of the summer.
That'd be great. Thank you. Thanks so much. Anybody have any questions for Kevin or for Shirag? As you know, they are always available to us. Shirag's at these meetings every month, and Kevin's contact info is in the chat. And with that, we'll move on to our next committee report, and that would be the state committee reps. And so I wonder if Lisa and Drew have something to share from the work being done by them on our behalf at the state committee.
Lisa, do you want me to go first, or do you want to?
Yes, you go first. Thanks.
Cool. Sorry, I am off camera. I have some folks over this evening, unfortunately, but just wanted pretty quick updates, honestly. So state committee has not met since May, as we discussed prior. The only big update coming out of the state central committee is one that, sorry, one sec. Only big update is that the Central Committee pushed out their grant process here in the last couple weeks. So we've been working on that portion. Aaron, I'm sure, has already talked about that, or will talk about it in a report coming down the line of pieces there, but is a pretty great program for the state party. The only other big note that I wanted to make sure folks were aware of is that I'm going to be putting forward a revision to the rules for vacancies at the September meeting, which is going to be held the last weekend of September in Vancouver. That's going to just clean up some of the sort of difficulties that we saw in the last go round here in the last 5 or 6 of these, having gone through them now, and just make sure that's a really smooth process. So I did want to make a call for folks that if you've gone through a vacancy process in the last year, so 33, 34, 48, 41, 5, I'm forgetting one. It's fine. 26, who isn't here. Or 24, excuse me, and 26, who isn't here. If you've gone through one of these vacancy processes and have opinions about how it went, please send me a note, because that rules revision is definitely coming in. And I'd love to get feedback from folks who've gone through those prior. Otherwise, that's all from me, and I'll pass over to Lisa for anything you have to add.
Yeah, thank you. There isn't a whole lot, as you said. We met in May. We gave you the report in June about that, I believe. So just this quarter's meeting is going to be held September 27th in beautiful Vancouver, Washington, at the Vancouver Hilton Hotel. There's a little bit of change though in an effort to keep costs down for state committee members. The state party is having a one-day meeting this September. Typically, Saturday is a day of caucuses and Sunday is the general session, but they'll be having a shorter time for caucuses together during the Saturday, and then have all of it be the actual session. But in January, they do plan on going back to the normal caucus schedule of Saturday caucus, Sunday schedule. But again, this should be a pretty brief meeting. There right now are no resolutions or rules posted for consideration. So aside from what Drew mentioned, I'm not really sure exactly what we're going to be talking about fully, but there will be a welcome reception on Friday, full day of stuff on Saturday, and nothing on Sunday. So a little different, but that will be what we do this go around.
Super. Thank you. Thanks very, very much. I appreciate that. And as I recall, there are multiple hotels that people will be staying in, but the meeting space is at the Hilton.
Yeah, there wasn't enough rooms at the Vancouver Hilton to fit all the people we need. So the meetings there'll be a few rooms, probably staff mostly. And then there are some outlying nearby-ish hotels that they've given us codes for to get a discount at. But yeah, people are going to have to just, make do, and it'll be fine, I'm sure.
Yep, I think you're right. It'll be great. And the best part is that everybody will be together. And that's what the state committee voted on in the May meeting, that it was important to them to be in person. So that'll be the best part. Super. Any questions for our state committee members? Super. Thank you. Thanks, Lisa. Thanks, Drew. And now I'd like to move on to the endorsement committee report. Chair Kat Pipkin and Vice Chair Dean Rodenbow have prepared a wonderful report, and I think we'll have some votes to do on this one. Kat, the floor is yours.
Okay, great. Let me share the report for folks who have not yet maybe haven't had a chance to look at it. It was, of course, included in the call to meeting and all the reminders. Is that right, Beth? Was it in the first call to meeting or just the reminders?
We noticed that there would be endorsement considerations, but in the reminder came the report.
Okay, thank you. So we held a recommendation meeting and vote here a week or so ago. As with other meetings, we polled everybody as to when they might be available to meet. As with other times, Monday afternoon ended up being the majority time slot. So that's what we chose. However, everybody can vote offline whether or not they attend that meeting. So that was a good meeting. It was a productive meeting. And we were able to get through remaining races. We don't have anything else on our plate right now. For the report this month, I only have 2 legislative districts, single LD races to pass through. Joanna Beresky and Julie Shea from Mercer Island City Council were endorsed by the 41st. And this, what you see highlighted here, just came in, and that is Megan Sheridan for Milton Mayor from the 31st. And you might have seen that was on last month's report as an ineligible for endorsement. And Megan has since gotten a questionnaire in and is now eligible. So that would be the pass-through portion of our recommendation. Dean, do you want to take this next part, or do you want me to continue?
You can continue. That's fine.
Okay. In alphabetical order by jurisdiction, we were able to get through Bellevue City Council race, re-election of Marilyn Robinson, Jude Anthony running to unseat the sole Republican on King County Council. Lake Haven Water and Sewer, another Seattle School District Director recommendation, Skyview Metropolitan Parks, Snoqualmie Council and Mayor, which is exciting, as well as a Tukwila School District Director. There was one race that we want to call out as being having made the decision to make no recommendation, and that is actually in alignment with both with the majority district there, which is the 5th. We opted not to make a recommendation in Sammamish Council Position 1 for either Amy Lamb or Harlan Gallinger, who are the eligible candidates. And then the last thing on the report that I'll mention is that we're going to resume questionnaire development, and we'll do that after the primary. We'll probably start about right after Labor Day when people have had a little bit of a chance for a break. And then we'll include full information on that and how to get involved at next month's meeting in our report, which is where we usually include this stuff. What have I forgotten, Dean? Anything?
No, just sincere appreciation for all of those who have gotten us through this election cycle. It's really been heavy lifting, and we were really thrilled to have such strong representation from each of the LDs in the interview process. It really sent a very strong and positive message to the candidates.
Thanks, Dean. Yes, and to all of those on the call who are also who are not only members of the executive body, but are reps or alternates for their LDs. You know, Holly, let's see, Julie, I see you. Hannah, I see you. Scott Aldrich, I see you. Hanan, I see you. Andrea. All of the people who regularly, Katie, thank you all so much for your literal hundreds of hours that you've given to this over the past 6 months. And with that, Beth, I think we would be submitting this report as a motion to endorse.
That's correct, Kat. Thank you very much.
Oh, I meant to in the chat. Sorry, I had the chat here and meant to, did I send the here it is. I apologize. Here's another link to the report. It's also linked, or it was linked in the calls to meeting and reminders, but this one person was an addition. So this is a new version of the report if you download it now.
And delighted to have Megan Sheridan choose to participate with us. So that was exciting. Thank you very much. You aptly noted that recommendations from the committee count as a motion and a second. I see a hand raised. Hi, Lisa.
Hi, I'm so sorry. I might have missed it. Are we approving the entire paper or just the single LD part?
Well, I was about to say that I'm calling for any, there's a special word for when you pull somebody from the slate.
Division.
Division, thank you. Yes. I'm calling for any divisions. I don't think that there would be any additions in order.
Only if there were, pardon me, Madam Chair, only if there were additional single LD races that would amend the report.
That's correct, as we learned of today. So yes, thank you. Awesome. I appreciate that very much. So at this time, I'm asking for division from this slate of recommended candidates. Do I have any hands up for division? Hi, thank you, Lisa.
I was just to see if anyone else. Yeah, I wanted to trying to read the paper here. I wanted to pull the Seattle District Director number 2.
Kathleen Smith, Seattle School District Director, position 2. Super. Thank you very much for that. Any other motions to divide? I don't know if I said that right. Anybody else that we'd like to pull from the slate? Anybody else who wants to get excited about interacting with the city of Milton right along with me? That was pretty cool. Super. Seeing no more motions to divide, we will remove that one candidate from this slate and consider the slate, which has been moved and seconded by the endorsement committee. And I would like to, before I ask for debate, I'll answer a question from Hannah. Hi, Hannah. Thanks for raising.
Hi. I just have a clarifying question. The Amy Land and Harlan Gallagher were not voting on.
That's
correct?
correct. They were
Okay.
considered by the committee, but the
Okay.
committee is not recommending either candidate in that race at this time.
Thank you.
And they are a multi jurisdiction race. So there are 3 LDs that would weigh in on that. And just to clarify, all 3 LDs were participating in the endorsement committee meetings that discussed this. So nobody had an outsized voice in it. It was a consensus to not act at this time. Great. Do we have no other division? Do we have any interest in debate on the slate? Any concerns about the remainder of the slate? Hi, Scott. Thank you for raising your hand. What?
Hi, I'm not hearing a lot of debate, so I'd move for unanimous approval of the slate.
I appreciate the suggestion. I see another couple of hands up. Thank you very much. Hi, Hunter Brown.
I will second that.
Thank you, Hunter. And Julie, how are you tonight?
I am well, thank you. I had more of a question because I know there was like a little snafu last time around with at least one of the candidates that they had gotten on the list as being recommended for endorsement, but we hadn't at that point actually interviewed him. And there might have been someone else. This was the Skyview Metropolitan Park Commissioner position. And I know subsequently he was interviewed, but just was wondering if this is an appropriate question, in the discussion of who to endorse, was that person, and then there might have been somebody else in the same position, was there a discussion, or was it more like, oh yeah, we already endorsed him, when in fact it was sort of a not a, how would I say, not a valid endorsement?
Right.
Am I making sense at all?
A little bit, enough for us to get the point. And we have had a few fumbles in this season dealing with over 200 candidates. So it's very valid to bring the question up. I appreciate
Yeah, I'm not blaming anyone. I just
Oh,
didn't,
no,
I
no,
didn't
no,
think it
it's
was
okay.
presented as, oh, we already endorsed him, so okay, he's in. Or if there was actually a discussion, as it would be with any other candidate.
Right. I think what I'd like to do is I'd like to call on the endorsement chair to add clarity to that question. This is particularly, I believe, regarding Bruce Noble in the Skyview Metropolitan Park Commissioner position number 3.
Yeah, thank you, Madam Chair. In the race in question, the Skyview Metro Park, on last month's report, that was we'd like to defer consideration of this person until we've interviewed them. And so they actually weren't considered last month because we hadn't yet interviewed them. Subsequently, we did interview Bruce and were able to then make a recommendation on it. But the rep from the 46 is correct in that it's the committee's preference to not make recommendations on races when we haven't interviewed all of the candidates. And where candidates, and I don't think there's an exception to that this year, where candidates have been endorsed without having been interviewed first, that was by floor nomination, which was seconded and then passed. So absolutely, we prefer as a committee to have an opportunity of not just reviewing a questionnaire, but of speaking with the candidate and then having committee debate afterwards. Did that answer the question, Madam Chair?
Yeah, I think so. I just had another follow-up clarifying question, because in reading the transcript, I was out of town for his interview and, for the more recent interviews you've done. But in the transcript, the vice chair and Bunny were asking questions for that interview session. And the transcript said, oh yeah, we've already endorsed him, but he doesn't know that yet. And so that's where I got confused.
That would have been in the discussion prior to the interview starting.
Right, that would.
Or I think it was actually after the interview. Yeah, I think. But...
Okay, that would have been in error.
Okay. Okay. Thank you for clarifying.
Yeah, that's a great question. Thank you for asking.
Thank you. That's wonderful. I appreciate the clarity. So we all feel comfortable with everybody on the list. the single jurisdiction races of Johanna Bareski on Mercer Island, Julie Shea, Mercer Island, and Megan Sheridan in Milton for mayor, followed by multi-jurisdiction candidates Lynn Robinson, Bellevue City Council, Jude Anthony, King County Council, District 9. I'm not sure that his opponent, Reagan Dunn, is the only Republican on the King County Council. We might have to ask around opinions, but it is officially nonpartisan. Travis Baker, Lake Haven Water and Sewer District, Kathleen Smith, who has been divided from this slate, Bruce Noble, Skyview Metropolitan Park, Dan Murphy, Snoqualmie Council, James Mayhew, Snoqualmie Mayor, and Mitchell Foran at Tukwila School District Director, District 1. So those are our candidates on the slate. It's been moved to unanimously approve the slate as amended and seconded. And if I see no objection, then that slate as amended is approved. Thank you all very much. And thank you to the committee and the many, many, many hours and all of the LDs who've participated. It's been fantastic. Absolutely great. Now we can move on to the divided candidate. And I would like to ask for comments about the candidate that has come off of the slate, whose name I have already forgotten. So Kathleen, help me out, somebody. Smith, Kathleen Smith, Seattle School District Director in position 2. I'd first like to ask the endorsement committee a little bit about the Seattle School District, District 2 position. Did we interview other candidates? Have we made a recommendation? Has the committee made a recommendation? It appears not, because this is the first time there's a recommendation from the committee.
That's right.
And I think I'm recalling that the body nominated and voted to endorse previously, but that does not preclude a dual endorsement if either brought from the floor, a nomination from the floor, or a recommendation from the committee. So just catching up myself as well as everybody else. And you'd think I could remember Smith. Kathleen Smith is the candidate at hand. So I would love to ask people to please raise their hand if they have comment in debate over candidate Kathleen Smith for Seattle School District Director, District number 2. Any hands up about this? Any debate at all on Kathleen? Hi, Lisa. Thank you.
Hi, this is debate or questions.
This is, well, if you've got a question, you're welcome to ask it. I did not close question period, but I am hoping we are moving forward to debate.
Yeah, no, that's fine. So yeah, I just, regarding this race, I just have 2 points to make, and I'm going to preface those remarks by noting that this is the school district seat that I held from 2019 to 2024, Seattle Public Schools District 2. So I hope people will understand that, I come into this with a deep understanding of the seat and the district and what is at stake right now. So first, in all honesty, Kathleen Smith reminds me a lot of myself when I first ran for the school board in 2019, because at the time I had little direct experience with the school district, with its policies, knowledge of the ins and outs of SPS. Still, I did have students in the district, and I had served on the PTSA for 4 years as a president. I launched PTSA at Lincoln High School. So, but ignoring all that, the biggest differences between when I ran in 2019 and Kathleen Smith running right now is that I was running unopposed. So I was your all's only choice. We do have another choice, and we've already endorsed that candidate. So my second point then is, I'm wondering, why do we feel this need to do dual endorsements? And, I hate for us to just do it because we can, because there's a lot of great candidates out there. We need to be, I think, selective when we're doing this, because I think that because we have already endorsed in this race, especially, we as the voting members tonight really need to ask ourselves, are we that convinced that this race is with 2 equally able, equally qualified, equally experienced candidates? And I can only think of one race in which I think it was arguably that case, and that was, the Claudia Gramai dual endorsement we did. Obviously, they were both very experienced and served and esteemed. And anyway, regardless, the reason I believe who we endorse in this race is really just matters more than ever is because of where Seattle Public Schools is right now, more than ever. And I can promise you, having been there, that prior experience on the board is paramount right now. I know it takes at least 1 year, maybe 2, to really get your bearings, learn how things happen, why they happen, and how to make things happen. So in this race, we don't have to propel a candidate who comes in the job without that experience and knowledge and relationships and with those deficits. So I'm arguing against the duel in this case. We've already endorsed who I just believe is a more qualified, experienced candidate, but aside from all that, I want us to just make sure that we're doing this for the right reasons. Thank you.
Thank you, Lisa. I didn't realize that you had sat on the school board for that long. Thank you for your service. That's lovely. Thank you. Thank you, Kat, for raising your hand. You have the floor.
Thank you. Well, I think I'd like to clarify, answer the question that was raised in the prior comments, and then just discuss why the committee made this recommendation. So to the question of someone was already endorsed, why are we making a recommendation? There were actually 4 races that the body had already made an endorsement before we had interviewed the candidates. In 3 of those, we chose to take no additional action. We agreed with the body, with the executive board on that. This race was a little bit different. Once we had had a chance to interview both candidates, I will point out that this was one of the races that there was a sense of urgency to get people endorsed so that they could get a statement in their, and this is my perception, but the comments at the time were that it was important to get an endorsement for someone in their voters guide, somebody endorsed by King County Dems, to prevent an undesirable person from getting an edge in the race. A floor nomination was made, seconded, and passed to endorse Sarah Clark previously. Subsequently, we had an opportunity, and we had argued not to endorse in that race because we really wanted an opportunity to talk to both candidates. But Sarah was nominated and endorsed. The committee did have a chance then subsequently to interview Kathleen Smith, and in our deliberations, a number of things came to light. We don't take it lightly to make in general, I think we as a committee prefer a single endorsement in a race. We feel that that's a stronger statement of values. We pick a candidate, we're wholeheartedly as a body, as King County Democrats, behind a candidate generally for each specific race. In this case, though, we actually felt that Kathleen was a better candidate, and there were a number of concerns raised privately and confidentially in the meeting that led us to that. Some of the votes that were taken were concerning. For example, an abstention from the budget vote. In my district in
Point of
Bellevue.
order. We're not supposed to consider or discuss a previously made endorsement or motion or anything. So I tried really hard not to talk about it too.
I'm sorry, was someone else recognized to speak?
No,
it was a point of order, sorry.
Which then needs to be acknowledged by the chair.
My bad, sorry.
Thank you. And I do think it's important that we stay to speaking about the candidate that is the discussion, which is Kathleen Smith.
Okay. Okay. Concerns were raised about the opponent, which took us from we like both candidates to, oh, we really like this one more. This one may in fact be less flawed than the other candidate. So not just picking a candidate to endorse or to make a recommendation on because just because. In 75% of the cases, we didn't do that. In one case, and one case only, our committee felt decisively that Kathleen was the preferred candidate and urge the body to consider a dual endorsement in this race. Thank you.
Thank you, Kat. Thanks very much. Hi, Tara. You have the floor now.
Can I also ask a question from the committee? Because you're saying that there were concerns about Sarah Clark, but what were the positives for Kathleen Smith?
Thank you, Tara. And I'd like to redirect that question to the endorsement committee if they're prepared to speak to Kathleen Smith.
Dean, do you have your notes in front of you? Or I might ask if
I was not present
Bunny...
for that interview. Yeah.
Oh, right. Okay. In the room tonight, who might be able to speak to that better is somebody who's running away from their desk right now to grab their notes.
Thank you. In a moment, I'll ask Bunny Hatcher, who is our designated archivist for the endorsement committee. She takes the most copious notes and actually keeps them and can find them. Unlike some of us with less perfect filing habits. We'll see what Bunny's got. And Bunny, I'm about to hand the floor to you, but I would to respond on behalf of the endorsement committee, but I'd like to remind you that we're speaking about what were the pros for candidate Kathleen Smith and why would we consider a dual endorsement for her?
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, thanks.
I just pulled my notes now. Everybody needs to understand that we've interviewed several hundred candidates that at this point so I have to review my notes here. I think one of the things that we were first of all impressed was her strong stand against charter schools. That we had some waffling from other candidates, but I think unfortunately some of the candidates that we've had didn't differentiate between magnet schools and charter schools, so we had to make sure of that. Let me see what we have here. She herself has some really strong educational chops. She has her doctorate. She has let me see. She has really good analysis of the finances of the school district and where things should be allocated. She also, one of the things that at least impressed me as one of the members of the committee was her answer to the question that the state has a duty to provide for the education of all the children in the district, regardless of intrinsic factors like race, color, and how do you plan to serve all the students? And she brought in the need for things like working with outside agencies as well to help with things like housing and nutrition and things like that outside of the school day. That she also was the only one of the candidates to address the ICE issue, and that mattered a lot to us. That as we all know, that's become an issue. There are kids who are afraid to go to school because they're afraid that they or their parents coming to pick them up will be grabbed by ICE. So that was one of the more impressive things that she covered. And also that she works with organizations that provide services to many of these students, such as housing. She has worked hard to build relationships with them. So those are just a few of the points. To me, the ICE thing was really important, but that's why I voted to opt for dual endorsement.
Thank you, Bunny. I really appreciate you getting your minutes out and sharing that. Thank you. Hi, Chris Roberts. I see your hand is raised. The floor is yours.
I have a question of the endorsement committee, if I might. My question, Madam Chair, is whether the Kathleen Smith has received any endorsements from the local legislative districts. I know there's an endorsement tracker that the endorsement committee has, which I don't think was attached to this report.
Thank you. I redirect to Chair Cat or Vice Chair Dean. Bunny's searching. And I'm wondering if you can share if there are other endorsements that affect this body.
I don't believe so, not to my knowledge. One of the issues that I know was raised in committee discussion, Chris, or Madam Chair, man, that's hard to learn. One of the things is that we believe this candidate got off the ground quite late. And so a number of LDs had already interviewed and made endorsements prior to this candidate, I think, really finding their footing in the race. But to answer the direct question, no, not to my knowledge. Yeah. Dean has his hand up. Perhaps Dean can speak to that.
Yeah, she was endorsed by the Seattle Education Association.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
That was what was called out from the follow-up discussion that I did pick up, as well as the Alliance for Gun Responsibility and the Stranger.
Super, thank you. So I'm seeing the WEA, the Alliance for Gun Responsibility, Stranger, not any of our LDs. And my screen's a little wonky, so I think Kat, that was your hand up, and Dean, that was your hand up. And then next up would be Robin.
But can I actually,
Can I come back to you?
yeah, I just want to clarify on the last one. The other candidate also has only had 2 LDs endorse them. So only 2 LDs have endorsed in that race so far.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah, so it's not a blowout, although 100% the other way right now.
So I have a question to ask following that, but since I called on Robin, I'd like to allow Robin to speak next. Thank you. Thank you, Robin, for waiting. I appreciate it.
Thanks. I guess I really wanted to reiterate some of the points that Lisa made earlier. Dual endorsements say that we can't make up our mind, right? And so it should be a very rare occurrence when that happens. And I also agree. I worked for Seattle Public Schools for 13 years. I also have a PhD. I understand data, and a lot of what she brings is her knowledge of data, which is important. And I have to say, it's also not taken seriously a lot of the time. People want stories. They don't really look at data as rigorously as they should. And I think for this race, I think that Lisa's point also about experience and really being able to make change and get on board is so important. This person is going to have to hit the ground running, and the person who is in that position now, who we have endorsed, is ready to do that. Is ready to face some of the very difficult budget challenges that district is facing, as well as school closures and many other very hot button items that are going to affect families and children for years to come. So for this one, I understand, we went with Claudia and we went with Jermaine, and they are 2 absolutely outstanding candidates. I don't think we can have somebody green coming into this. And I agree that we should not do a dual endorsement here.
Thank you, Robin. I appreciate that. Kat, I see your hand is still raised. Are we circling back to more info from the endorsement committee, or should I
I
move?
found my notes if that is relevant.
Actually, I think let me take, we've got like 4 other hands, but I promise to come back.
No worries.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Take mine down and put it back.
Robin, did we resolved your hand raise? I feel like I might have cut you off. We're good. Super, thank you. Hi, Hunter, your hand is raised.
Yes, I heard a speaker previously state that only two LDs had endorsed in this race, and they both endorsed Sarah Clark, who was already endorsed by this body. Was the endorsement committee aware that the District 2 shares borders with the 46, the 36, and the 43rd, and the 36 and 46 were the two districts that endorsed. So 2 out of 3 districts that ST2 overlaps endorsed.
Can I clarify? Can I clarify what you're saying?
Yeah.
That this is a school district director position that is a geographic subset of the larger district, right? It's not an at-large position, it's a subset of it.
They represent District 2, and that will be who votes on them in the primary.
Super. Thanks. Yeah, I get you. And so then you're saying that those LDs were the ones that considered endorsements. Yeah. Thank you. Thanks for helping with.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Sorry. I was just wondering if the endorsement committee was aware that the 2 of the 3 endorsed the previously endorsed candidate already, Sarah Clark, not Kathleen Smith.
I'll take that as a question and I'll redirect and ask Kat. In your tracking, can you tell us which LDs created an endorsement in this race?
Our information concurs, 36 and 46.
Super. Thank you. Thanks very much. Tara, thank you for waiting. You have the floor.
Oh, sorry. Mostly I was going to say the same thing that Hunter did. I'm not even sure if the 43rd is in the second school district, but yeah, the 2 main, there is for the primary, only the 2 LDs that are in the District 2, possibly also the 43rd has a corner of it.
Super. Thank you, Tara. Hi, Lisa.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, no, same thing. I was just going to clarify. They've already said it. 2 of the 3. The 43rd is the one that hasn't endorsed yet in that race. So in the District 2 boundaries, or who are the only ones who will vote in the primary on this race, 2 of the 3, the majority have voted for Sarah Clark. So that's it.
And that's another interesting point that I hope you can clarify. In the primary, the geographic boundaries vote, but in the general, is it the full city?
Yeah, school district's weird. There's 7 districts in our district, geographically throughout the city. In the primary, only the voters who sit in that district, which doesn't matter what LD or city council you're in. If you're in the boundaries of that school district boundaries, you vote on that primary. And after that, the top 2 go to the general, and the whole city votes on them because school board directors represent a district but serve the entire city is how it's justified and explained. But yeah, it's confusing.
So it's kind of as if the District 2 creates a nomination for the city to vote for.
Essentially, yeah. So
one way of looking at it.
Yeah. So generally speaking, only the LDs who will vote in the primary tend to vote in that, do endorsements for the primary. Yeah.
Thank you. Super. Hi, Chris Porter. I see you've had your hand raised. Thanks for waiting for me. What would you like?
Well, thank you. I'm outside, so I'll just turn my camera off. That's not helpful. This is one of the things that I think highlights why the opposing party oftentimes outmaneuvers us. When we do things like a dual endorsement, as the previous speaker said, it communicates to the voter either that we're not sure or that we can't make up our minds. I just think that we spend an inordinate amount of time chasing a dual endorsement. And when that happens, I think the person speaking ought to be saying things like, this candidate has the potential to already outshine the one that we endorsed, almost as if to say we really should have waited to go with this candidate. This candidate has the enormous potential to just shine and may even rise to become president. Something that should motivate us to say, wow, this is a dual endorsement worth probing. But things like they're equal, they're really good, and they don't have experience, but they can get you a running start. And then the notion that there's some confidential or other stuff. If you believe that this candidate has a leg up because of the other candidate's weakness or things that we don't think are worthy of the endorsement, then say it. But please don't start with there's some confidential stuff, and it means it's hollow and it means nothing. This is one of the reasons that we're losing some of the site. We need
Thank
to
you.
endorse the candidate that we started with.
Thank you, Chris. I appreciate your thoughts and your preference for how you'd like to receive the information in situations like this. Thank you. Kat, thank you for waiting and circling back.
Why don't we let Bunny go, and then if Bunny captures the points I was going to make, I won't need to speak.
Okay, I appreciate you deferring to the next person with their hand raised. Hi, Bunny. Thanks.
Hi, thank you. I wanted to point out that when we interviewed Kathleen Smith, she did point out to us that she had gotten her campaign off to a late start and had missed the opportunity to seek the endorsement of the LDs. So I don't think we can make the assumption that the LDs would not have endorsed her had she sought their endorsement in a timely fashion.
That's a very interesting point. And
Yeah, we thought highly enough of her to recommend a dual endorsement.
the compressed timeline for endorsements can often make things very difficult. It's a very short period of time between filing week and when we start making votes, at least at KCD and probably with several LDs as well. Kat, I'd love to circle back to your hand raise if you had something more to add.
Yeah, just to reiterate that I wasn't able to articulate some of the reasons that we felt this candidate was better, but I will talk about some of this candidate's qualities. We don't, in fact, take this lightly, making a recommendation for a dual endorsement. I don't know if this committee ever has done that before, not in my experience. We truly believe this is the better candidate. When talking about priorities for the district, this candidate put their entire emphasis on things that are core values. That is teacher salaries and support, having school buildings that are set up for thriving learning environments. So maintaining buildings to an adequate nature that that sustains student learning, health, and well-being. One of the things that most struck me about her when I'm looking back over my notes, again, as Bunny said, hundreds of candidates. One of the things I really appreciated, and this was a comment that was echoed by a number of other candidates that we've also recommended and endorsed, and that is this subject of pay to play for school enrichment activities. That was a third really key point. I think the equity of allowing all children to participate in events, it was a point that I think was really well made, that if a district only has pay to play activities, it's fundamentally inequitable. So I applaud this candidate for bringing that up. Again, had we had, the opportunity to have this race included prior to the body voting on it, this would have been the candidate we would have recommended, not because we think they're as good as but because we truly think this is the better candidate, and that is the result of all 17 legislative districts consensus. So that's it.
Thank you. Thanks, Kat. Hi, Hunter. I see your hand is raised. Thank you for waiting. The floor is yours.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Yeah, I just want to point out that the currently endorsed candidate is, I believe, the only candidate who has gone through Seattle Public Schools, and she has a master's degree in education. I appreciate all the things said about the candidate under consideration tonight. I have no doubt that the currently endorsed candidate espouses those same values and wants those same things for our students and our teachers and our communities, and will fight just as hard for them. You know, she's been doing it for a year. She's learned the ins and outs and knows how to deliver at this point. And so so yeah, I just want to emphasize and also bring home the point that, you know, representation matters, right? And when we have a woman of color in this race, you know, and we talk about all the time about how if you're following Seattle Public Schools, children of color are falling behind and they lack role models in the public school system. And this is one place that we can help deliver that by continuing with the sole endorsement. So thanks.
Thank you, Hunter. Hi, Katie. Do you have a comment for us?
I have a question. Are we concerned that a dual endorsement might split the vote such that a far right candidate may succeed or gain traction and make it through the primary? Or is, I mean, is that the concern about a dual endorsement?
That's a very good question. And I see that in the Seattle School District, Director District number 2, there are 3 candidates. Kathleen Smith, we're discussing now, Sarah Clark, who we've previously discussed, and Eric Feeney, who I'm not familiar with. So if somebody knows Eric, perhaps they could raise their hand. But for now, I think we have a comment from Chris Katz.
Hi, I don't normally talk in these meetings, so apologies for intruding. But I think my take here is sometimes the ship has sailed, and although it can be disappointing, our organization's mission is to get Democrats elected. If this candidate has or is a silver bullet that makes their election an absolute certainty, great. But getting Democrats elected is a statement about results. This might be the better candidate, and I'd be happy to have either from the sound of things. But if you can't decide who to disappoint, then what is politics as a profession? Thank you.
Thank you, Chris. I appreciate that. Tara, thank you.
With the Seattle electorate, there is, I don't think Feeney is terribly right-wing. There is very little chance of an extremely right-wing candidate squeaking through in Seattle in a 3-way race.
Thank you. I appreciate it very much. And if we had gobs of time, I would read you something interesting I read about the strength of Democratic candidates in the city of Seattle. It was super impressive, and I was very proud to read it. Hunter, you are up next.
I don't know if this is proper, Madam Chair. I believe I may have a nugget of an answer for a question that was asked by a previous member. Whether or not there was a third, you know, about the third candidate. I was
just going to say, typically we would just be discussing the candidate at hand, but I think we all have our curiosity piqued. So if we could keep it under 2 minutes, share with us what you know, please.
It's very brief. I don't know much, only that my understanding is that the candidate would not identify as a Democrat.
And I see Kat, our endorsement committee chair, nodding in agreement. That is very interesting. So not willing to state alliance with our party is quite significant. Thank you. Thank you for sharing that. Seeing no more hands raised, I'm wondering if there's a motion on the floor. We have one more hand. I think I see a motion in chat. So I will ask Linda Krez for her comment first. Thanks, Linda. You have the floor.
Yeah, thank you very much. And the last comment really made me want to speak. School board elections are very different from other political elections. Many times the best candidates for school boards have not been politically active in their local communities and parties. They're much more focused on their schools, those communities. And I really hope, I know it's crazy to do a dual endorsement. On the other hand, if you want people to run for school board, we have to have the expectation that they're going to get a fair shot at support from us based on what their positions are. They are not tried and true politicians who understand that we may make a decision based on resources or having to back one person. And I think it's really important that we remember that these are very different types of elections. Thanks.
Thank you, Linda. I appreciate it. And I'm glad that we're actually not having to consider Eric Feeney tonight because we couldn't. But yes, these are tough things to run for. And you heard from Kevin earlier also saying that it was big work, a heavy lift to make many phone calls to recruit candidates to run for school board positions around the county. And we're proud to have rallied people in all seats except for one. And that's pretty impressive. So hats off to the team and to Kevin's amazing data and to everybody who's choosing to run. I see a motion in the chat from Robin Fleming moving to remove the dual endorsement of Seattle Public School candidates by supporting a single endorsement for Sarah Clark and removing Kathleen Smith from the endorsement. I wonder if I could rephrase that a bit, because right now we would just be voting on Kathleen Smith, endorse or not endorse. Robin, could I simplify what you're saying to a motion to not extend a dual endorsement to Kathleen Smith? Does that sound right? Yeah. And just going to do a double check because the other way we could look at it is everybody in favor of the committee's recommendation is a yes, and everybody who would be a yes to Robin's question would be a no to the committee's recommendation. Because actually, now that I think about it, and I bet Tara is going to correct me on this, what the motion we have at hand is from the committee first with a recommendation and a second. So they are done the same, or the same thing is achieved just using the affirmative motion from the endorsement committee. Tara, how did I do talking myself out of the hole I dug?
You did very well. I mean, it is in fact essentially this endorsement is, as a report from the committee, is a motion to endorse Kathleen Smith. So that is how the vote would be: yes to endorse her, which would make a dual endorsement, or no to not endorse her, which would leave the previous endorsement alone.
And that is the motion at hand, achieving the same as Robin was looking for, just slightly different angle. And with that, and having exhausted discussion and debate, I'd advise everybody to come to their react button, and a green check would be to approve endorsement of Kathleen Smith, which would become a dual endorsement. And a red X would be to not endorse Kathleen Smith at this time. And please go ahead and use those. We have a couple more folks who are able to vote. Just give everybody a moment to come back to their devices if they were doing something simultaneous, folding laundry, unloading the dishwasher. We understand how that goes. Maybe pouring another glass of water. I am exceptionally hydrated tonight, and seeing a slow in votes. I haven't done I haven't done a count, but I do see, I will put the motion in the chat. The motion stands to approve endorsement of Kathleen Smith. Just misspelled that, sorry. For Seattle Public School Director, District 2. Hannah, I think, has a question while the last few votes come in.
Yeah,
Hi.
I have just a question. Is this a simple majority vote?
Yes, it is, because it's a recommendation from the endorsement committee. Wonderful clarification. Thanks. Okie doke. All righty. I wonder if the tally committee could please help me out with doing basic math and counting, because I'm beyond that tonight. Thanks.
Madam Chair, it looks like we have 14 in favor, 10 opposed, and 1 abstention.
So does that endorsement then pass?
Yes.
Okay, super. Thank you very much. I appreciate it, and everybody can lower their votes now. At this time, we can move forward. I'd like to confirm with the endorsement committee that we've completed all the business the endorsement committee brought to us tonight.
Yes, Madam Chair.
And I'd like to ask the body if there are any nominations that we have not had the chance yet to consider. If there are any noms from the floor, please raise your hand. I see one hand. Hi, Jasmine. Nice to see you tonight.
Hi, Beth. How are you?
I'm well. Thank you for asking. Hi.
Hi. Sorry it's dark. I'm in my pajamas. I wanted to make a motion to nominate from the floor Ruth Perez for Renton City Council position 6.
I'll second that.
Seconded by Carmen Rivera. Thank you, Jasmine. Thank you, Carmen. And it is Renton City Council position 6.
Correct.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Do we have any, many of us had the chance to meet with Ruth, who joined us during our welcome minutes at the meeting today. Fun to see her off or on camera. Are there any questions of Jasmine regarding this nomination? Do we have any debate? Here's a question. Hi, Holly. Thank you.
I'd like to speak against when it's time.
Thank you. If there are no questions, Lisa, a question or a debate?
Question, and I don't know who can answer this especially, but I believe that endorsement votes are actually supposed to be balloted. So the last one should have been probably, and this one, we can at least do it this time, I think, if that's true. I mean, I might have to check with the parliamentarian, but I believe endorsement votes are balloted votes.
And I would like to better understand your question, because we used a transparent method of voting.
Well, I just remember the last endorsement meeting, we did them all with ballots, and I think, and I didn't realize it till right now, actually, that we hadn't been doing that today, but I think they were supposed to be. So I don't know if it's here or there, but I just wanted to clarify if that is, we are in fact supposed to be doing balloted votes for endorsements?
I don't know that we have a rule that requires a specific type of ballot. It is my preference that we have a capturable record of the vote, as opposed to just how many ayes and is it loud, sort of a thing, but having it there. While we have debate, perhaps I could ask Tara to take a quick glance at our rules. My thought is that we do not, but I am not willing to go on my recollection.
Thank you.
Thank you. Can I assume that the hands raised are debate? If they are not debate, please speak up.
Hi, Beth, this is Alex.
Yes,
Not
hi, Alex.
debate.
Okay, thank you for the
Just
question.
quick mention about if we did need to do a ballot, it might be difficult because I don't think Tyler or anyone send out passwords beforehand.
Right.
Or excuse me, Aaron, not Tyler. But
Yeah.
we could use the previous set of ballots with the same passwords, but just wanted to bring that up.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Thanks. Tara, I see your hand is raised, so I'm going to hope that you have some insight for us.
I'm finding nothing requiring a ballot, only that we record the vote number, which would indicate that a hand raise or the reaction is fine, not that it has to specifically be balloted.
Super. I appreciate the extra research. Thank you very much, Tara. We owe you a debt of gratitude for the amount of work you've had for us this evening at the last moment. Thank you. I appreciate it. Okay. At this time, I'd like to open the floor to debate. And I see Holly has her hand raised, followed by Scott. Holly, you have the floor.
Thanks, Chair Baisley. I oppose endorsing Ruth Perez for Renton City Council. Ruth is an experienced politician and chose to submit her questionnaire at the very last moment. She has not been interviewed, and KCDCC has not endorsed her in the past over her 11 years on council. Ruth did not ask for the 11th LD endorsement and does not participate in the 11th LD. King County Democrats already endorsed her opponent. A dual endorsement is not appropriate for this race.
Thank you, Holly. I appreciate that. Thanks so much. I see there's somebody coming back to the meeting in the waiting room. Just a heads up to those who are not usually looking there at this time of night. Scott, thank you for waiting. You have the floor.
Yeah, I'd also like to briefly speak in opposition. I was pretty impressed by Paul Dutton, who we did already endorse. I don't quite see what would be served by endorsing someone else in a city council race.
Thank you. Thank you. And Tara, I see your hand is raised, but I suspect it might have been to answer my earlier question. Yep. Okay.
Sure.
Thank you. Any other for or against debate comments regarding Ruth Perez for Renton City Council? Hi, Carmen. I see your hands up. Nice to see you tonight. The floor is yours.
Hi, can everyone hear me? I can't have my camera on at this moment because it's a little bit late, but can you all hear me okay?
Yes, we can.
I just wanted to share just perspective, and and speaking for Councilmember Ruth Perez, as a colleague who I've worked with, who actually helped us protect the minimum wage ordinance when it came down to it in July of 2024, when the mayor's office and the chamber tried to undo the work of the voters. Ruth very much stood in for the voters and for raise the wage. I understand that she hasn't been the most active. I also understand that Ruth has felt very alienated as an immigrant, as a Latina, as a woman of color, as somebody who stood for immigrants, who has been able to navigate this. I'm going to say from personal experience, as a Latina who's been very progressive, I am very brash and very direct. And now I understand and I respect Ruth and the way that she moves more strategically because she has to navigate the same world I do as a woman who's an immigrant, who has an accent. And I have a lot of respect for her for that. And I've learned a lot from her. And so, from that perspective, I think, she did submit her application late. I think an interview would be appropriate, but I think after an interview, the King County Democrats Endorsement Committee would be very much in favor of a dual endorsement, in my opinion. And I would say that we should consider it based off her voting record and the work that she's done in a city that isn't incredibly blue, isn't deep blue by any means. It's Renton. And as a progressive woman of color, I have been actively attacked. And I think we need to also understand and respect how sometimes people have to move more strategically, more moderately, more covertly, especially in areas and cities that aren't always the most progressive historically. And that's just the perspective I would like to provide.
Thank you, Carmen. I appreciate it very much. Okay, any other comments, pro or con? Oh, not to worry. about, hi, Amy. Thank you for raising your hand.
Hey, I just have a question. Is there a primary in this race?
It's an excellent question. I can take a quick look.
There, I can point of order or point of information I can share. There is not a primary in this race. It is her and Paul Dunn.
Thank you. Thank you. And that's confirmed in chat as well. Thank you. So no primary, and we do have an endorsed candidate. Am I correct there? Paul Dutton. And we are now about to take a vote on what would become a dual endorsement for Ruth Perez for Renton City Council position 6. I'd like to ask a clarifying question. Somewhere in my mind, probably because I'm a little bit tired, I was thinking mayor, city council. Is this a weak mayor situation? No, somebody else is the mayor. And I have just inserted that, and now I need to claw it back. Okay, thank you. Renton City Council, position 6. I'd like to direct everybody to the reaction buttons where a green check would, because this is a floor nomination, we would need 60%. A green check would approve nominating or approve a dual endorsement for Ruth Perez, and a red X would be to not do that at this moment. Thank you, everybody, for redirecting your pointers to those reaction buttons. Hi, Alex. While everybody's voting, I see that you have a question.
Yeah, real quick. Similar to the last one, as a point of information, is this a simple majority again or a?
It's an excellent question because this was not a recommendation from the endorsement committee. This floor nomination would require 2/3. Appreciate it. Thank you. It looks like voting has slowed. So I wonder if the tally committee can tell us where we are landing. Hi, Alex. Thanks for raising your hand.
Hey, maybe another question. When we are calculating the 2/3, do we include abstentions in the total votes?
No, we do not. 2/3 of the voting members.
So I'll let Hannah confirm for me. But if we are doing that, then we have 16 ayes, 8 nays, and 5 abstentions. 16 over 24 is 2/3 exactly.
There we have it. Okay. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. And we can lower our votes. Thank you. Are there any other endorsement nominations from the floor? Any other endorsement noms? Seeing none, I think we can close the endorsement committee's business and conclude our committee reports for the night, which leaves us to our new business. And we do have some very interesting new business. Some we've discussed a bit earlier. The amazing canvassing opportunities provided by and organized by the First LD. Isabella, did you want to reiterate or leave it with what we put in the chat?
Yes, thank you, Madam Chair, and forgive me, I'm also in the dark, it seems. It's getting that time of night. I just wanted to share with everybody, and I will post a copy of what I had just posted earlier in the chat again for those that were not able to see it. Here in the 1st Legislative District, we have something really unusual happening in King County. We have what we like to call a local Elon Musk. He who is organizing against Democrats. He has spent over $200,000 now on local city council races. These are not state representative races. These are not, statewide or large district races. This is a local city council race. And not only is this individual who we call Lying Jeff Lyon, not only does Lying Jeff Lyon is he fundraising for him or putting his own personal money for himself, he's putting his own personal money to actually upseat other strong existing Democrat candidates. It's unusual, of course, because we don't see this amount of money in races normally for city council races, but also it means that our primary here in Woodinville, where this is happening, is a very important primary, and we have now until August 5th to make a difference. Our goal is to make sure all of our endorsed Democrat candidates get on the ballot. For this reason, even some were made as dual endorsements. So I put in the chat 2 very important upcoming dates in Woodinville this week. We have others, of course, in Kenmore and Kirkland in the following weeks, but if these Woodinville ones right now are the most pressing, we are asking all hands on deck for everybody here in this Zoom to share with your LD, share with your community, and participate in these canvassing, door knocking events with us. Help us get out the word. This is how we can win this election, with knocking on doors and tell the community, what we believe in. So far, we think that we have really good case. The neighbors themselves don't like Lying Jeff Lyon. He's apparently flew drones over playgrounds and other public spaces to monitor the neighbors. He was kicked out or pushed out of the HOA, so he seems to be trying to move into now this council space. He is coining himself as the Democrats of Woodinville, but of course, we as the Democrats, we've tried to reach out to him. He does not represent the Democratic values. And King County Democrats has put out a formal statement coordinated by us as well about this. So I would really appreciate all hands on deck. This is an urgent call to action for support from all of you phenomenal members here of the King County Democrats. If you can, please, please, please participate. Feel free to email or call me anytime if you have questions. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Isabella. We've been battling with this problem of blue washing in Woodinville for several months now, like 6 months. And Jeff Lyons has created a one-man pack and has bought all of the billboards around town. And he's calling it Democratic Woodinville. It is quite a something, I tell you. So anybody who can help, we would really welcome your help canvassing or donating to our candidates there. In the next bit of new business, I wonder if I can hand the floor to Rachel Glass, the vice chair of LD 34, who has an exciting event to share with us. And I'd love it if you guys could amplify this to your LDs as well. So Rachel, please share what you've got.
Thank you, Beth. Thank you. And it's been really an interesting experience to just join the meeting tonight, just to watch how you guys are operating and doing what you're doing. And it's just really exciting to give some more context to the county version of what we do at RLD. So thank you for that. I want to let you all know that I was very inspired in March, April, when I watched Cory Booker's 25-hour plus marathon speech. And I was so inspired by the way that I thought I would like to create something like that in our LD, because I just thought it was really inspiring. A lot of people tuned in. And a lot of people at the time, at the end of March, and look where we are in just these few weeks, so much more has even happened. that there was just a feeling of people coming together in community and standing together in solidarity is a very empowering and powerful kind of a tool for folks who live in this country, who don't know what to do, who don't know what, who feel like victims, like this is just all happening to us and there's nothing that we can do about it. And so I'm in the process right now of organizing this event. It's going to be happening at the end of August 23rd and 24th. And it is called Bend It Like Booker, which is inspired from the name from the movie about the soccer girls who wanted to imitate and make the moves like their soccer hero, David Beckham, the Bend. So I decided that I thought it would be kind of cool to create an event that would kind of imitate the cool moves of a political icon, Senator Cory Booker. So this event is, it's a 25-hour community event. This is not going to be just for our district. We're going to live stream it as well as having in person. So I'm hoping that I can extend this invitation. The dates are August 23rd, starting at 10 a.m. It's going to be a consecutive straight through 25-hour event like Senator Booker's, going through till 11:15 a.m. on Sunday, August 24th. And it's very exciting. I have already gotten almost 20 speakers who are ready to join in and participate. The topics are going to range from, I was trying to reach as many corners of our community as I can. So, I'm looking at stories from the community in the legal field, the medical field, the legislative field, immigration, Medicaid, healthcare, housing, libraries, veterans, DEI, the arts. I'm trying to so the speakers are going to be speaking from all of these different lenses and all of these different lived experiences and experts in their field. And I'm also got a bead on a couple. I'd like to bring in some music so that it's not just speaker, that we're going to have some music. And also this will follow what Senator Booker did. Was he read 200 stories from people who sent their stories in to him. And I'm not going to be able to get 200, but if I can get somewhere between 50 and 100, we're going to have professional actors come in to read these stories, which will come from presumably our district, but also King County and anywhere in the world, because we're going to be live streaming this so anybody can tune in to watch it. So that's kind of a sort of an overview of the event. And I would love to have y'all help to promote it and come to see it. I would like to invite all of you to come to attend it and take part and join in. It's going to be in South Park, Washington, which is just adjacent to West Seattle. But we're also going to live stream it. So Beth, I'm not sure how best to send information to you. I mean, I could send it to you, and I would ask if you can promote it out to all the LDs and everybody who's here tonight to then promote it to their constituents, as it were, so that we can get the word out and about. I am going to I am promoting it as we speak to neighborhoods, word of mouth, but also through, I have a couple of journalistic contacts. And so I'm trying to get it out there in a big way as well, through journalistic means. So does anybody have any questions? Because I do want to help to flesh this out as much as I can to make this in your minds something that you can imagine and envision. And it's okay if you don't. But Beth, I may yes, Scott.
Yeah, so I'm a little bit confused because I don't know the event you're talking about. So it's like some sort of speaking circuit with music.
It's not, it's literally a community event. I'm trying to really gear it like Senator Booker did towards uplifting stories of Americans. I mean, that's really what Senator Booker did. And so I'm trying to kind of follow the theme of his vision to uplift the stories of Americans who are being harmed by the Trump administration's reckless actions, to educate our community about Trump's specific attempts to undermine our institutions and his disregard for the rule of law. And
so this would be
Scott, you need to address me.
Oh, sorry.
It's new to all of us. We're getting used to it.
Yes. I just one more thing. The event is seeking to inspire attendees and viewers to get involved civically, to join the fight to protect our democratic process, and to find joy and empowerment that flourishes when we stand together in community and take care of each other. So yeah, it's so I'm hoping with the music, there's going to be music. We're going to have a couple of food trucks so that people can be there and not have to leave. I don't know if anyone's going to want to stay for 25 hours, but thinking about the challenge of what can you do for your community to be there for your neighbors and your friends and family. And so yeah, it's literally the way I envision it is that anyone who comes to be there is going to be treated to a buffet of stories from all different aspects and lenses and areas of our community. That's really what I'm looking for, is that when you walk in, you're just going to hear up from your community. You're going to hear from people, just folks who are telling their stories. Even the elected leaders who are going to be speaking at this event, because it's a community event, I'm asking them to come and bring a story of themselves, of what they're passionate about, what they know about their lived experience, because I want people to really be able to feel like they are in community and learning something and getting inspired, so that the temptation to fall into despair can not be the prevailing force. I want and of course, to get out and vote. That is really important too. But how people can feel empowered to be involved and to not be taken over by despair. Because I think a lot of people in our country are just feeling completely overwhelmed right now. And I think they are looking to the Democratic Party to do things that show leadership and that show that we are being proactive. And I'm not saying this is the only way to do that, but what I am saying is that it is something that, in addition to all the other things that we're doing, it is another way to reach out and invite in our community members to feel more part of something and
to be connected.
Yes.
Yeah, I really appreciate it. I am very excited to amplify your message. Thank you so much, Rachel. I think that Holly might have a question for you about it.
Yes.
Holly, I see your hand is raised.
Yeah, just a quick question, Chair Baisley. I just wondering, where will it be live streamed so that we can do that if we can attend?
I'm right now, I am sending out the bit.ly. This is to get tickets, and we have to sell tickets, but I'm making them a really affordable amount to not sort of scare off people who may have financial issues, because I really want to make this accessible to as many people as possible. I also have a QR code, which I think
This is perfect. We'll start from there.
and this bit.ly, Holly, this bit.ly that I just sent out is the ticket form. It's a registration form. And so on that form, you have the option to choose, I want to attend in person, or I want to attend, I want to watch the live stream. So there is a way that you can indicate how you would like to participate in this event. And I think for all of the LDs who might be very far away from West Seattle, the live stream would be the perfect way to go, because you can watch it from wherever you are in the comfort of your own space. And, you know, it will be 25 hours. So, you know, you can watch when you are able, and that is just great. I mean, any way that you can be involved from wherever you are is amazing, and
Wonderful.
I'm grateful for that.
Thank you, Rachel. Thank you so much for bringing this wonderful community event to all of us and to having an accessible way to do it. And there is a small cost because we have to pay for space and podium and all the stuff.
And
But
for the musical
and the musical pieces.
And the artists is important. I have a QR code, and I don't know if that is easily
Why don't you share it with me and I'll share it out to the LDs.
Okay. Thank you so much, Beth. And thank you, everybody.
Rachel.
And I look forward to seeing you there on August 23rd or 24th.
23rd. Thank you. Awesome. Thanks, Rachel. I think that Kat also has some new business for us.
Thank you, Chair Baisley. I don't know how to follow that. Something that will take a little less than 25 hours. We have this Saturday an opportunity of really supporting our labor partners. There is a rally on Saturday, a rally and a quick march at Victor Steinbrook Park from 11 to 1 on Saturday the 26th. And Victor Steinbrook is just north of Pike Place Market. This is to protest the massive transfer of wealth in the BBB bill from us to billionaires like Jeff Bezos. There will be a performance action in this. There are 3 drum troops in it. There will be dancing. There will be soapbox speakers. I am learning so much about how labor organizes and does these events. I think it's going to be crazy fun. So I welcome everybody. I hope that you can come. I have 3 asks for people. If you could, if you're interested, sign up for the event. There's a Mobilize link. If you would please share it out to your LD members, that would be great. Practicing allyship is something I know that I'm always working on. So if there's a way for us to support 6 different labor unions, I like to have an opportunity of doing that. So share it out with your LD, and if you could please promote it on socials. They have a great toolkit with graphics that are specific to the Seattle area as well, which we could also share. The other thing, Beth, if I could, can I just tease something for Labor Day?
Go for it.
Okay, May Day Strong, in conjunction with many organizations nationwide, has a Labor Day 2025 is going to be, I think, the next big public day of action that is being planned. So the cadence has been every few weeks to every 2 to 6 weeks. This is going to be one of the ones that they're calling for a big action. And here in our area, one of the biggest actions is going to be something called Building Bridges, which is they're trying to do a hands across Lake Washington, having people come from both sides of the bridge, walking into the middle, and line the entire floating bridge, the 520 floating bridge, with banners and a bunch of other things. So I just want to tease that for you to be on the lookout for information about that for Labor Day, which is September 1st. And that is in conjunction with the May Day Strong organizations.
Awesome, Kat. Thank you very much. I'm really looking forward to supporting our labor partners, and we'll be there this weekend. Thank you. Thanks a bunch. Any other new business? Anybody come to the meeting with some new business to share? Seeing no more, although those were like really good ones tonight. We got lucky. How about any good of the order? Thanks, Carmen. Good of the order time for you.
Hi, I know it's really late, so I'm going to be very quick about it. I'm in a very competitive race. I do have a primary. I am a King County endorsed candidate for Rent City Council running for reelection. It's getting very competitive. I have been out fundraised by one of our chamber board members who's also a candidate running against me. And one of my biggest goals is protecting the minimum wage ordinance that we passed by voters and also increase our renter protections. And so I'm going to drop my donation link in the chat. If anyone has $5, $10, $15, $20, $30, please feel free to make a donation. It will go to direct voter outreach. During the primary, during these local races, the hard part is getting Democrats to come out to vote. And so it'll go to texting, it'll go to phone banking, it will go towards mailers, it will go towards that direct voter outreach. I have hired a fundraiser out of my own pocket just to remain competitive because that's how important this race is to me. And so that's what I'm dropping in the chat. And I hope you all have a lovely night. I know we've been on here for like 3.5 hours, and I love all of you Democrats so much. Thank you. Thank you. And also big thanks to our chair for running an incredible meeting. I admire you so much, Beth. You are amazing.
Thank you. I will take that with gratitude, especially this time of night. Thanks. Hi, Alex. You have a question.
Hey, one more thing, just trying to keep it brief. It was one new or good of the order. On Thursday, there's Candidate Survivor. I'm in no way affiliated with it. I just wanted to drop the link in chat for it. It's a free event at Nubos that seems pretty fun, and I hope to see some of you there.
Very fun. That's like classic good of the order, good stuff. Thank you for adding that. Maybe you could pop it into the chat for us as well, just in case.
Cool. Just it.
And I see Chris Roberts has a little bit of good of the order in the chat as well. Chris, did you want to come off of mute, or should we just read your message tonight?
Can come off of mute. Yes, thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank
I'm very excited that earlier this month I announced that I'm going to run for King County Assessor in 2026. Really quickly, I do believe that we need to restore fairness, equity, and integrity to that office. So I've put my website and my contact information in the chat. Happy to talk with all of you and talk with your LDs about my campaign. And I look forward to working and meeting everyone across the county. Thank you, Kat.
Awesome. Thank you, Chris. Thanks for hanging in all the way till 10 o'clock to share your good of the order. I appreciate it. And thank you for stepping up. As we've been saying all night long, thank you, brave people, for being candidates, for stepping up to serve, and so many of you being elected at some point or another. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I'm really grateful for it. Hi, Julie. Thanks for raising your hand.
Hi, just one more quick good of the order. This Saturday, for folks that live in Seattle at the QFC Four Corners, so this would be like, I'm assuming U Village, 10 to 12. It's sort of a Handmaid's Tale rally for women's rights sponsored by Defund Musk, Seattle Indivisibles, Troublemakers, other groups. They will have speakers. They encourage people, if they want, to come dressed in handmade style or in red. So that's 10 to 12 Saturday. Lots of things.
Lots to do. This is prime season, and we need to all step up and do our share in that way. I love that opportunity. Those are both really great and fun things to do, to be in community with people other than those of us who are hyper committed to this group. Those are really great opportunities. Thank you. Is there any other good of the order? Seeing none, I wonder if there's a motion that might want to be made.
Sabella here, motion to adjourn.
Second.
Thank you, Sabella, and thank you the many seconds. I appreciate those very, very much. And seeing no objection to adjourning, I think that's unanimously consenting to closing down this meeting at 10:06 and saying a big congratulations to everybody on the tremendous amount of collaboration we conducted tonight. Collaborative work done with grace and style and loads of learning. And I think if anybody deserves an extra round of applause, it is the amazing Tara Gallagher, who stepped in and showed us her prowess with that weighty book, Robert's Rules of Order, and our rules, and her willingness without even a vote to give us all of this effort, and her careful love and guidance. Thank you, Tara, very, very much. And anybody who is itching to go grab a warm cup of tea and cozy down for the night, you are welcome to sign off, and we'll look forward to seeing you next time. Thanks, everybody.
Beth, I've saved the